So you have to unmute yourself. SS Naik, sir.
Yeah. Now I am audible. Am I audible? Just tell me.
Volume was low. A very good afternoon to one and all. Continuous learning is a minimum requirement for success in any field, and we chartered accountants have incorporated this continuous learning and growth prospects through our institute, which always aims at making the best out of its members and giving an opportunity to the members of the fraternity to grow and continuously adapt to the number of changes that is happening in and yet finance or the economy. So today, I'm indeed happy to welcome you all to this virtual CPE meet conducted by the Mangalore branch of SIRC of ICAI on the changes in TCS and TDS provisions, and also to understand the audit under COVID environment and paperless office. I welcome the committee members of Mangalore branch and also our chief guest, CA Ravindra S. Kore, the chairman of Bangalore branch of SIRC of ICAI, and also our renowned session speakers, CA Naveen Kariwalji, CA Prashant KL, and CA Nilima Jain. A warm welcome to all gathered here and all the delegates. Any program will be having its success if we seek the Almighty's blessings. I now request CA Shweta to lead us into prayer. I request CA Shweta to lead us into prayer and seek the Almighty's blessings on this auspicious virtual CPE meet.
ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮನ ಕಳುಕಿರದು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತಲೆ ಬಾಗಿರದು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮನ ಕಳುಕಿರದು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತಲೆ ಬಾಗಿರದು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತಿಳಿದಿಗೆ ತೊಡಕು ತೋರದಿಹುದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮನ ಕಳುಕಿರದೋ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತಲೆ ಬಾಗಿರದು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮನೆಯೋ ಕಟ್ಟು ಸಂಸಾರ ನೆಲೆಗಟ್ಟು ಧೂಳೊಡೆಯದಿಹುದು ತಾನ ನಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮನ ಕಳುಕಿರದೋ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತಲೆ ಬಾಗಿರದು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತಿಳಿದಿಗೆ ತೊಡಕು ತೋರದಿಹುದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮನ ಕಳುಕಿರದೋ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ತಲೆ ಬಾಗಿರದು.
Thank you, C.A. Shweta. It was indeed a prayer which made us feel that we are near God. Our motto song is the one which aims that all the chartered accountants should be awake even when we are asleep. So let us now raise and give respects to our motto song.
य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामोषो पुरुषो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तदेव शुक्रब्रह्म तद्ब्रह्म तदेवामृतमुच्यते अमृतमुच्यते अस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्वैता 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 एतद्वैता.
Thank you, everyone. Mangalore branch of SIRC of ICAI has always been very dynamic in conducting a number of programs. And even during this pandemic, we have not let ourselves and our members down, but continuously conducted a number of webinars for its members and students. I now request our chairman, our ever enthusiastic and dynamic chairman, CA SS Naik, to welcome the gathering and the delegates. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, my beloved members and dear students. I welcome to this brainstorming session by three veteran speakers, that is CA Trayas. Three veteran speaker. The first speaker will be, opening batting will be by KL Rahul, that is Naveen Khariwal, CA Naveen Khariwal from Bangalore. All of us know Naveen Khariwal because in Vivasya Vishwas program last time, for all the balls he has hit sixers, not fours, sixers, and department people were also very happy. His tagline was Vivasya Vishwan 25% or 50% discount sale by the department. So it was a tagline. So everybody liked your that tagline, sir. And we are very fortunate to have you in this virtual meeting. Actually, Naveen means the name itself speaks. New devices comes, or he is the person who can deliver without any tension. And he belongs to our partner in HC Kincha and Company Bangalore, which is a famous partner, this our CA firm handling direct taxes, and he is a member of FKCC Central Taxes also. Mr. CA Naveen, he is not only Naveen, he is a Praveen also. So whatever new amendment comes, he is there to guide all the chartered accountant fraternity, and he is a Praveen also, expert in that. Sir CA Naveen Khariwal, on behalf of Mangalore branch of ICAI, I welcome you for this virtual meeting on changes in TCS and TDS provisions under the income tax. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Next, today's other two veteran speakers in the second session, the topic is audit under COVID environment and paperless office. So paperless office means we think about Guru and Jana. Why it is Guru and Jana? Because in paperless office, Guru and Jana is a Guru for all our chartered accountant fraternity, and they are for all Jana. That means they are for people. So here we have two young stars from this Guru and Jana, a leading chartered accountancy firm in Bangalore. Not only in Bangalore, we can say that in entire Karnataka or entire our India also. So CA Prashant, he will speak on audit under COVID environment and paperless office. Regarding Prashant, then the name itself speaks. He is Prashant. Prashant means always cool, but his delivery is not cool. This delivery is always hot because it should reach the people. If it is conveyed coolly, it will not reach the people. So even though he is very cool, his delivery is hot, so that it will be like a hot cake. It will reach all our chartered accountants and CA Nilima, very smiling face, a lady chartered accountant. We are very proud that, madam, you are the first lady chartered accountant to address all of our members. We welcome wholeheartedly on behalf of Mangalore branch of ICAI as a co-speaker for this event. I think you will speak about paperless office. So in our office nowadays, during especially in tax audit season, all chartered accountants office is full of papers and files only. That's why people wonder how we can handle this our work without paperless office. And audit during COVID environment, I think they go hand in hand. This paperless office and audit during COVID environment. I think both of you will definitely enlighten all our CA fraternity on this new topic, so that all of us can reduce the paperwork, we can reduce the cost of paper, and we can reduce the waste of paper, and so that we can conserve foreign exchange, because a lot of paper is getting imported from abroad. So that is the need of the hour. On behalf of Bangalore branch of ICAI, I welcome CA Prashant as well as CA Nilima Madam, partners Guru and Jana, for this virtual meeting. So today we have Doddanna with us. Doddanna means he is a big brother. Bangalore branch is a Doddanna, not only in our Karnataka, they are Doddanna for all over India, we can say. They have the say in, it may be in Central Council, or it may be in Southern India Regional Council, may it be in government, or it may be in policy making, because they have more than 16,000 chartered accountants enrolled in Bangalore branch. Correct, no sir? More than 16,000 chartered accountants are enrolled. It is not a joke.
14,000 plus is there, sir. Right now,
14,000
those
plus
are
chartered accountants
membership
are
paid.
Paid. Not paid are many. Then it may be 16,000. So or it may be more also. So CA Ravindra Kore. CA Ravindra Kore is a man with a vision and man with a mission. Why I say that man with a vision? Because his program, Jnana Dasoha, so that is a series of programs he is reigning, not conducting, he is reigning at all the members, and it is up to us to catch and or pick up or to absorb and make use of all these webinars. And all the speakers are also of national and international name and fame. So we should applaud CA Ravindra Kore for his vision, and his mission is Jnana Dasoha. That means spreading Jnana. Nahi Jnanena Sadrisham. That means he believes in Nahi Jnanena Sadrisham. So not only that, he is an all-rounder also. All-rounder means batting, bowling, fielding, wicket keeping, all things he do. He is into sports also. And first ever women CA conference also he has conducted. He has that credit to him. And our Doddanna, sir, I welcome you for this virtual meeting to address our CA fraternity. Before I conclude, I would like to say a few things regarding this virtual meeting. So why we need to have virtual meeting? Subhashita Karai explains, Acharyat Padam Adatte, Padam Shishyaha Swamedhaya, Padam Sabrahmacharibhyaha, Padam Kalakramenacha. The meaning of this is, whenever we are learning, we have to learn Acharyat Padam Adatte. That means 25% we learn from Guru. Today we are going to learn 100% from Guru and Jana. That is different issue regarding paperless matter. But all other matters, 25% we should learn from Guru. Padam Shishyaha Swamedhaya. That means 25% we should get to know out of self-study. Padam Sabrahmacharibhyaha. That means 25% we should learn from friends and well-wishers. Now these CPA seminars, we are learning from our own CA fraternity friends and colleagues and well-wishers like our Naveen Kariwal, Ravindra Kore and all other speakers. Then 25% Padam Kalakramena Cha. Remaining 25% during the course of our practice we are going to learn. So definitely whatever today CA Naveen Kariwal or Prashant, CA Prashant or CA Neelima Madam, whatever they say, we definitely take it as take it in a good spirit and we will try to adopt. That's why in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna told, Yadyadacharati Shreshtaha Tatta Devataro Janaha Sayat Sramanam Kurute Lokaha Tadanu Vartate. That means the learned people, whatever they say or whatever they follow, others blindly they follow them. So today we are all chartered accountants from Mangalore. We are here to listen to all of you and we will definitely adopt whatever you say in our day-to-day practice. Over to our Doddanna CA Ravindra Kore sir. Before your speech, would like to introduce.
Thank you very much, sir. I think it's been a very wonderful introduction of Ravindra Kore, sir. I would just like to add one small point. He's been the first to many of the activities, just like he said. Their branch is the first to conduct the webinar among all the branches of ICAI, and they conducted their first webinar on 18th of March 2020. So it is indeed a wonderful thing. Even before the lockdown, ICAI was not down. Bangalore branch has done a wonderful activity. And being the president of Karnataka State Chartered Accountants Association in 1415, he was the first to conduct the first ever Women CA conference. So women empowerment is the one which we always give importance to, and you've been one who's been the brain behind this particular conference. He's presently serving the Bengaluru branch as the chairman of the SIRC of ICAI. And also, he conducted the first ever National Badminton Championship. So we CAs are not only meant to, look into books and study, but also be into sports and keep ourselves enthusiastic. He has also been a resource person for a number of programs conducted by English and Kannada TV channels, and also has been the Udayavani Kannada daily newspaper. If I have to just quote, sir, your name Kore also makes me remind of core, CORE. You have been indeed a core personality for the Bengaluru branch success. Thank you once again. And I request you to address the entire gathering for being a part of the show, and your words will actually inspire us. Over to you, sir.
ಬಾಳ್ವೆ ಇರುವುದು ಕಲಿಯುವುದಕ್ಕೆ, ಕಲಿತು ತಿದ್ದುಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದಕ್ಕೆ, ತಿದ್ದಿ ತೃಪ್ತಿ ಪಡೆಯುವುದಕ್ಕೆ. ಬಾಳು ಬೆದರುವುದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬದುಕುವುದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರು ಕಡಲು ತೀರದ ಭಾರ್ಗವ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಶಿವರಾಮ್ ಕಾರಂತ್. The respected captain of the name itself is the captain, chairman of Mangalore branch Sri S.S. Nayak, and the Sarathi secretary C. Abdur Rahman Musba. Today's speakers CA Naveen Khariwal, CA Prashant, and CA Nilima, and all the managing committee members of Mangalore branch, and galaxy of past chairmen of Mangalore branch, because recently they have celebrated 50th year of their golden jubilee year of Mangalore branch. And my dear delegates for the today's session, both from Mangalore and Kasargodu, very good afternoon. It is a pride moment that very simple how it can be connected. ನಾನು ಹುಟ್ಟು ಬೆಳೆದಿದ್ದು ಪಂಚ ನದಿಗಳ ಬೀಡು ಬಿಜಾಪುರ ಬಾಗಲಕೋಟೆ, ಅವಿಭಜಿತ ಬಿಜಾಪುರ ಬಾಗಲಕೋಟೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ನಾಡು ಈ ಅವಿಭಜಿತ ದಕ್ಷಿಣ ಕನ್ನಡ ಪಂಚ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಗಳ ಬೀಡು. ನಾವು ಹತ್ರ ನೀರಿಗೆ ಬಡದಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಗಳ ಬೀಡೇ ಇತ್ತು. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಷನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್, ಕೆನರಾ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್, ಸಿಂಡಿಕೇಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್, and Karnataka Bank, Vijaya Bank, born here. And the Mangalore, always I used to say, S.S. Nayak is saying, Doddanna. I used to tell when in Pandavaru, the Bhima is Balista. So you can see, I am not a big personally, but only heading in a big branch and addressing all big personalities like you people. And if you have a captain, the name itself, S. Nayak, how it is a unique personality. He is conducting many things. Yeah, he is a tonic, the business tonic he used to give every day through his Namakodla channel. I used to follow few of that. And after that, you made him as a 50th Golden Jubilee celebration. It is like when World Cup is winning time, Dhoni become captain. Like that, SS Nayak, you made it. Why? The reason definitely is going to win the cup. Like that, Golden Jubilee was year celebrating. The SS Nayak and team is doing wonderful job. And first compliment for the team SS Nayak and all the managing committee members of Mangalore branch for their wonderful job. And coming to the members, it's a pandemic. Why I quoted the Shivram Karant quote, ಬಾಳು ಬೆದರೋದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲ ಬದುಕುವುದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ. Because we have to learn how to go beyond this pandemic. That is the situation we are facing. Yes, our profession is not to because the whole financial impact is giving to business community. The everyone finger shows to us. All business community will show the finger to chartered accountants. What is my profit? Just I need to ask chartered accountants. That is a role. The chartered accountant, we are not earlier, we are conducting, earlier we used to tell we are the exactly bridge between chartered public and government. Now the bridge is expanded like boat in the ocean. So our role is become very difficult time. We are in that. So definitely the profession is going beyond somewhere track. Only thing I should also the unity of the profession is most important. Why I'm telling, the united voice, the anything is come, that will be more powerful. Because some other profession is entering into our profession. It's a rights of our profession being in fact in rights of our profession is affecting. Someone is say, for example, you can say any profession, doctor profession, if someone is entering as a doctor, even though they are not qualified as a doctor, like that, we are also having a threats from the other side. We need to be gear up. I first of all congratulate Mangalore and Udupi branch. They recently, you have stayed back that the principal commissioner office of income tax is supposed to shifting from Mangalore. That is a voice I like. I told all Mangalore and Udupi, my friends, please you raise the voice along with trade body. Yes, you have done it successfully. And my compliments to both the branches and the SS Nayak and team. And this it is successfully stay back. So like that, whenever our profession is impacting something, we are not supposed to do only. We have to enlighten our clients, trade bodies, the branding of chartered accountants. That branding is you people are creating enormously in Mangalore, especially because if you have the all the talentfuls, I can say talents, because you can say Bangalore is the biggest branch. The Bangalore is not only become biggest, it is all the coastal brothers are staying in Bangalore, and also North Karnataka, all part of the country is staying, and Bangalore become biggest branch. And when I am reaching this position, my support from my coastal brothers is enormous. Because of their support, I am sitting and heading the branch. My dear members and students, especially note that the examination is coming. We have to motivate our students also, because we are getting every day calls in Bangalore branch. We had made it in 10-10-2020. One SSP help desk, self-service help desk in exclusively we open for the Bangalore branch. I request if you have any queries, even Mangalore branch, I can extend it. Officially, I cannot say, but as a brotherhood, I am ready to support for all the branches of Karnataka. You can contact because they will push to the next level of your queries. So ultimate that or all Karnataka 8 branches, Ashta Dikpalakaru should move forward and serve strongly to the our fraternity members and society. That is the only vision we could made it as a Jnana Daso. Why Bangalore? We started, I thought it when 12th night its a program has been cancelled. I started getting every day 100 calls. Sir, what is the situation? So immediately 18th March we had a session, and again 23rd March we had a session. So that was somehow when we need to learn to turn challenges into opportunities. Yes, earlier in Bangalore we used to serve for only 1,500 members per month. Now it is increased to 6,000 members per month, because it is an opportunity to serve more members. So like that, the Mangalore branch, I say Karnataka and second largest branch, you are included your Kasargodu. When you Kasargodu name it's come, Kayar Kiyanarai, the name automatically it will come. So that much contribution, luckily you are having the next our brotherhoods in the branch and serving sir SS Nayak and team. My compliments to whole team, and whatever the support, as usual, whether you ask or not, the Bangalore branch is ready to extend our arms for all the branches of Karnataka. We need to be go together and serve together for all our fraternity and students. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Ravindra Kore sir, for your golden words on the occasion of our Golden Jubilee celebrations also, and followed by that golden words in Golden Jubilee. Today you had some platinum words also. Definitely we will cherish your
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Over to our MC.
Yes. Thank you very much. Indeed, those words and well wishing for your warm words, sir. It is now time that we move on to our first session and know what are the changes that have taken place in TDS and TCS provisions in the recent times. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce CA Naveen Kariwal ji to all the audience and the delegates here. CA Naveen Kariwal ji is hailing from a family of chartered accountants. He has his grandfather, father, and brother, all who are chartered accountants. And this young and dynamic chartered accountant has a specialization in direct taxes. He is in practice as a CA in Hetzi Kincha and Co. and also a partner in Hetzi Kincha and Associates. He's been the member of FKCC, Central Taxes, Corporate Laws, and GST Committee. He has also been the coordinator and moderator of Jignasa, a one-day workshop on scrutiny, survey, summons, search and seizure. He's been also a very keen cricketer and a good team leader. He's a brilliant orator, which we have already witnessed when he addressed the Mangalore branch on the taxation aspects of charitable institutions. He's addressed a number of branches including Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, Hubli, Udupi, Mysore, and many more. I think he's addressed almost all the branches of the ICAI, which adds to his accolades. A warm welcome to you, sir, and over to you to take a session on the changes in TDS and TCS provisions.
Thank you, Yashaswini, for the introduction. Chairman of Mangalore branch, Sri Nayak, Golden Jubilee Chairman. Chairman of my Bangalore branch, Sri Ravindra Kore, is now popularly called amongst all our CA fraternity, all 14,000 CA members, as the digital chairman who has reached, thousands of chartered accountants in last, 6 months, 7 months. And I also remember the last branch where I physically addressed members was courtesy our Golden Jubilee chairman, Sri SS Nayak now. Last meeting which I addressed was at Mangalore branch, myself and Guraj Acharya. And I had a great time. The chairman was extremely kind and I enjoyed his hospitality thoroughly. And in fact, my session was in the afternoon and I had the privilege and pleasure, I was on the dais with a host of the entire income tax department. Chairman was kind enough, I sat beside right next to the principal Chief Commissioner Karnataka and Goa. And I had a lot of, exchange of words. They were also kind enough. So that was the last, meeting where I physically attended. Anyway, I am now waiting for hospitality from our Bangalore branch chairman. As a vice chairman, he served us very good North Karnataka food. So now, I haven't had the courtesy now to have even a cup of coffee with him this year due to the COVID circumstances. Anyway, so now I have been told to deliberate on changes in TDS and TCS. Courtesy Finance Act 2020. So what we will do is now, 4:30, I think my session has to be, winded up. So keeping the time constraint in mind, we will try to discuss all the sections, but let us lay importance, give more stress to 206C1H, and let us try to analyze, the provision threadbare, because it is important for you as to how are you going to, address the businessman also, the problems of the businessman, and how are you also going to address the problems of the members. So let us start. Yeah, so let me start. Yeah, let us start with 206C1H, which was introduced by Finance Act 2020. Now, widening the scope of section 206C to include TDS. This is the finance minister's speech, finance minister's speech in the memorandum. Why is it 206C1H? Now, why have they brought in basically? So, this TCS provisions, already it was there in the statute 206C1, sale of scrap, timber, forest lease, etc. So, why they have brought in these sections? Basically to deepen the tax net. Now, how many people are filing returns in India today? 7 crores, 8 crores. You take last 3 years average, it is 7, 8, 7, 8. So roughly around 7.5 crores out of 130 crore population. And if you see our Modi ji, when he came on this faceless assessment, September 13th, at 11:30, he says 1.5 crore people have paid taxes in India. How do I manage the economy? Where is the collection of funds? Hardly 1.5 crore people have paid taxes. So now there is no way for the department but to widen the tax base. How do I widen the tax base? They have a potent weapon in TCS and TDS. So this is the TCS. So what are they doing? Mind you, do not think that today the limit is 50 lakhs and 10 crores, but over a period of time, my dear professional friends, it will come down to the 44AB limits only. Over a period of time, this will come down considerably and it will be along with the 44AB tax limits. So what are they telling? Many people are questioning. I am not questioning the logic at all. Now he wants to increase the tax base basically. He's telling 130 crore population. I have got only 7 crore, 8 crore people filing the returns, out of which 1.5 crore people are only paying taxes. So how do I increase the tax net? So I want to increase, basically widen the tax base. So in this regard, what is he telling? You see the speech, a seller of goods will be liable to collect TCS. Fine. See the speech and then we can go to a section and then develop all the question and answers. So seller of goods liable to collect TCS at the rate of 0.1%. Now, my dear friends, up to 31st of March 2021, it is 0.075% because of this pandemic. Thereafter, from 1st of April 21, it would be 0.1%. So now it is 0.075% on the consideration received from a buyer in the previous year in excess of 50 lakh rupees. In non-PAN Aadhaar cases, the rate would be 1%. Then only those seller whose sales, gross receipts or turnover from the business carried on by it exceed 10 crores rupees during the financial year, immediately preceding the financial year, shall be liable to collect TCS. Central government will notify persons subject to conditions. They will not be liable to collect TCS. As usual, TCS will not be collected from central government, state government, embassy, high commission, etc. As also from a local authority, which is defined in explanation to clause 20 of section 10. Then no TCS also will be collected if the seller is liable to collect TCS under any other provision of 206C, or buyer is liable to deduct TDS under any provision of the Act. No double taxation. If you have suffered already TDS, I will not go and collect TCS from you. Now these amendments will take effect from 1st April 2020. This is given in clause 93 of the memorandum. Now, if you see your annexure to part B of budget speech, they say widening and deepening of tax base. This is the heading, punchline, widening and deepening of tax base. So TCS is also proposed on sale of goods in excess of 50 lakh rupees in a year by a seller whose turnover is more than 10 crore rupees. Now, where is this coming, sir? It is coming in BB, that is collection at source. What is the heading of this section? profits and gains from business of trading in alcoholic and then forest produce, scrap, etc. Now, every person being a seller will go to the section threadbare and then go through the question and answer. I have made around FAQs, I've made a question and answers Q&A around 50. I sat there, I collected from all the sources, went through a lot of host of articles, went through a lot of presentations. I have compiled a question and answer for 50 question and answers. Now, every person being a seller, the section starts like this, every person being a seller who receives any amount as consideration for sale of any goods of the value or aggregate of value exceeding 50 lakh rupees in any previous year. Please understand, every person, matter and 2 within bracket 31 of the Act includes an individual, HUF, firm, company, everybody including trust, everybody as specified and 2 within bracket 31, being a seller who receives any amount. Seller is defined in the explanation, we'll see the meaning. Who receives any amount as consideration. Please understand, they have made the law wrong. If I compare the circular, if I compare the section, it are two divergent views. They have put this wrong law, but in the circular, they are explaining the law, which is again different. So, harmonious interpretation is required. Take the circular of 17/20 dated 29th of September, take the press release, take the section, and then make a harmonious interpretation such that the section becomes workable. Now, if you see the section, every person being a seller who receives any amount as consideration for sale of any goods. Understand, sale of any goods, services are not included. So, seller will sell goods of the value or aggregate of such value exceeding 50 lakh rupees in any previous year, my dear friends. So, there itself, any previous year. Suppose I have sold goods to Ravindra Kore, my Naveen hardware stores, sold goods to Ravindra Kore 5 years back. Consideration received from Kore hardware stores after 1st of October, then I am liable to collect TCS at 0.075%. Law is telling exceeding 50 lakh rupees in any previous year, other than goods being exported out of India. So export of goods is out, or that goods which are covered in subsection 1, subsection 1F, subsection 1G. So 206C1 scrap, lease, etc. Forest lease already covered, timber. 206C1F. That is on car, motor car. Then 206C1G is your liberalized remittance scheme. So all these three sections, that TCS is collected there is no problem. So we are not going to collect here again. Obviously, car, there is an exception. We'll come to that. At the time of receipt of such amount, when will the liability trigger? Please understand the triggering of liability. What is the timing of liability, timing of the event? At the time of receipt of such amount. Only at the time of receipt of such amount. Collect from the buyer. At the time of receipt, collect from the buyer. How much? Sum equal to 0.01% of the sale consideration exceeding 50 lakh rupees. Then there are two provisos. Provided if the buyer has not given the PAN or Aadhaar, then instead of 0.1%, it will be 5%. Again, the second proviso says, suppose the buyer is liable to deduct tax at source under any other provision on the goods purchased by him from the seller and has deducted such amount, then there would again be no TCS. Now the meaning is given in explanation. Explanation A gives the meaning of buyer. So buyer means any person who purchases the goods, but it does not include the central government, state government, embassy, commission, trade representation of foreign state. We discussed that, local authority, then a person importing goods into India or any person notified by government. So we are awaiting such notification. Then explanation B will define the word seller. Who is a seller? Seller means a person whose total sales, gross receipts or turnover from the business carried on by him exceed 10 crore during a financial year immediately preceding the financial year. So here we'll clarify one issue. My dear friends, you have to see whether the turnover of seller exceeds 10 crores. Fine. Where, how, when? In the immediately financial year preceding this financial year. Please understand, for the limited purpose of calculating the turnover of the seller, you need to include even services. Whereas the seller will collect TCS only on sale of goods. Understand carefully. Only on sale of goods, I am going to collect the TCS. But for calculating the turnover of the seller, for that limit of 10 crores, I am going to include sale as well as services. Clearly, it is given in the definition of seller, whose total sales, gross receipts, and turnover from the business carried on by him exceed 10 crore rupees during the financial year, immediately preceding the financial year in which sale of goods is carried out. Then, not being a person as the central government may by notification. We are awaiting such notification. Now, very cleverly, this 1I and 1J, this is what is happening. Any difficulty arises to give effect to the provision, then they are telling the board will issue certain guidelines. That is why they have released that press release, circular, etc. And all the circulars, notifications, they would be all the guidelines under 1J. They are telling we will lay down before each house of parliament. And this shall be binding on all the income tax authorities and on the person liable to collect the sum. Now, this is the meaning of turnover, because turnover, sales, gross receipts, meaning is given, in your guidance note. So guidance note, you can see I have given that, what your turnover, what is the meaning of, sales, and what is the meaning of gross receipts. Now, let us quickly go to the question and answers. We'll try to see this. Anyway, I have shared the presentation. Discussion about all the sections are there. We'll try as much to, cover the sections. Now, these 50 question and answers are based on all the bare sections of the Act, as well as I told you circular number 17 of 20 dated 29th of September 20, as well as your press release dated 30th September, which gave certain clarification on the doubts arising on account of new TCS provisions. One by one, let us discuss. So, who is liable to collect TCS on sale of goods? I told you any seller, sir. Any person being a seller. When, sir? When in the immediately preceding financial year, his turnover, gross receipts or sales is more than exceeds 10 crores. Wonderful. So if you see the first example here, TCS in the financial year 2021 will arise this financial year. That too, it is only after 1st of October, not before 1st of October. So liability to collect TCS in the financial year 2021 will arise if the total sales, gross receipts or turnover more than 10 crores in the last financial year 1920. Then there is no obligation to collect TCS in financial year 2021 if the total sales, gross receipts or turnover was less than 10 crores in the financial year 1920. Now, the second question, no problem. What do you mean by total sales, turnover, gross receipts? I told you, let us go by the guidance note. Also, you can go through these two other guidance notes. One is the guidance note on terms used in financial statements, where I've defined the word sales turnover as the aggregate amount for which sales are affected or services which are rendered by an enterprise. Also, if you see in the statement issued by ICAI on Caro, there also the word turnover is defined, meaning to say aggregate amount for which sales are affected or services rendered by an enterprise. So in my opinion, the word sales, turnover, gross receipts, they are all commercial terms, and better we construe them in accordance with the method of accounting regularly followed by the SSC, be it cash system or mercantile system of accounting. Now, whether TCS shall be collected on any kind of sales, including sale of services, we discussed. TCS shall be collected only on sale of goods only for the limited purpose of determining turnover of the seller in the preceding financial year, including even services. Question number 4. Sir, whether the consideration will be at FOB value or CAF value, all depends on the terms of the contract between the seller and the buyer. If the contract states a CAF basis, the consideration will also include insurance and freight. Nothing to worry. Next. Whether TCS shall be collected on export of goods? No, it is clear. Exception, is there. TCS shall not be collected on the export sales made outside of India. Issue number 1. Now I'm importing goods. For example, I'm importing goods from, Africa. Meanwhile, what happens? The goods I have imported from Africa, before they reach the Indian shores, I export them. I'm importing goods, I export them to Sri Lanka. So it is high sea sales. Where is the question? Where is the doubt? The goods have never reached the shores of India, but I am going to pay customs duty. It will reach India automatically. It will be exported to Sri Lanka. So I am not receiving from the buyer in India. And also, what happens? The goods are being exported and imported and exported. So therefore, this high sea sales is outside the ambit of this, TCS. Don't worry about it. Next. This we already finished it. You have to include the sale of services in the preceding financial year to calculate limit of 10 crores. From whom shall TCS be collected? Now TCS shall be collected from the buyer, subject to fulfillment of certain conditions. Condition number 1, sale of goods is to such a person. Next, seller receives any amount as consideration for the sale of goods of the value or aggregate of value exceeding 50 lakhs in any previous year. No problem, sir. So moment you receive consideration and it goes beyond 50 crores, you start collecting TCS. And buyer should not be in the list of the persons excluded from provisions for TCS. You're importer, exporter, you're central government, you're a state government, you're a commission, you're embassy, etc. You saw that list also. And also where the buyer has already deducted the goods under any other section. Next. From whom shall TCS not be collected? We just saw that. TCS will not be collected from who? If the person is exclusive service provider. Then if the goods are sold by export out of India, then if the sales on which TDS is liable to be deducted and deduction is already made, then if the goods are specifically covered on 206C1, 1F or 1G, I told you, 206C1 is scrap, 1F is your motor car, and 1G is your liberalized remittance scheme, and as well as that tour package operator. We will see that. So if you say 206C1 is alcoholic liquor for human consumption, tendu leaves, timber, or any forest produce, scrap, minerals, etc. 206C1F is consideration for sale of motor vehicle, value exceeding 10 lakh rupees. Similarly, 1G is remittance outside India under liberalized remittance scheme and overseas tour package. So what is this 206C1G? We saw that. Suppose remittance under liberalized remittance scheme of RBI exceeding rupees 7 lakhs. If the remittance is out of loan obtained from any financial institution as defined in ATE, then it is 0.5% if the PAN is furnished, 5% if the PAN is not furnished. In other cases, it will be 5%. And then sale of overseas tour package is 5%. No PAN Aadhaar, 10%. Here there is no limit. For every rupee you spend on the overseas tour package, your package or your operator will collect 5%, sir. Whereas remittance under the LRS scheme exceeding 7 lakh rupees, then he will collect your 5% authorized, like your banker, etc. Next. What is the meaning of buyer as per explanation A to 206C1H? So we saw that buyer means any person who purchases any goods but does not include central government, state government, etc. We went through that. Now, it was also mentioned that the buyer does not include local authority as defined in explanation to clause 20 of section 10. When I go there, it says, how is it defined? When I go to 10 subsection 20, where the income of the local authority is exempt, they say, what do you mean by local authority? It means a panchayat, it means a municipality, it means a district board, it means a cantonment board. Now, what is the timing of collection of tax? So if I told you the section is in one path, the circular goes in one more path. So if you see the section as such, let us try to interpret the section and the circular now. So see the section verbatim again. Every person being the seller receives any amount of consideration for sale of any goods of value. For sale of goods of any value or aggregate of sale value exceeding 50 lakh rupees, other than the goods being exported out of India, or the goods covered by subsection 1, subsection 1F, subsection 1G, shall at the time of receipt of such amount collect from the buyer sum equal to 0.1% exceeding 50 lakh. So 3 interpretations you could derive basically. Whether tax to be collected when both the sale as well as the amount received as sale consideration exceed 50 lakhs, interpretation number 1. Whether tax to be collected when the amount of sale exceeds 50 lakhs, irrespective of the amount of sale consideration received during the previous year, or tax to be collected when the amount received as sale consideration exceeds 50 lakhs, irrespective of the amount of sale made during the previous year. So C, in my opinion, interpretation number C would be the nearest to the section as well as to the circular. The other two opinions are, far-fetched opinions. Now, so if you see this example here, applicability, say the sale in financial year 1920 is 60 lakhs, financial year 2021, 21-22, then 22-23. Now, if you see 1920, sale is 60 lakhs, total receipt is 20 lakhs, outstanding balance receivable from the seller, your debtor is 40 lakhs. So what is tax to be collected? Nil. Why? Because it's applicable only from 1/10/20. So financial year 1920, no tax to be collected, sir, in financial 1920. Now come to financial year 2021. What is the sale? 70 lakhs. What is the outstanding balance as on 1st day of April? That is on 1st day of April 20, 40 lakhs is receivable. Total receipt is 1 crore. How? 55 lakhs were received on or before 30th September 20. Total I have received how much, sir? 1 crore. Out of which 55 lakhs is before 30th September 20, because from 1st of October only it's applicable. And outstanding balance receivable will be 10 lakhs. Tax to be collected is 4,500. Why? Very simple, sir. What is the consideration received after 1st of October? That will be 45 lakhs, because total receipt during there is 1 crore. Out of which, my dear friends, 55 lakhs is received before 30th September. And that 55 lakhs, I am telling you, understand carefully, that 50 lakhs threshold limit will be calculated from 1st of April itself, not from 1st of October. 50 lakhs threshold limit to be calculated from 1st of April itself. Clarification has come. So out of 1 crore, I've already received 55 lakhs. What is my threshold limit? 50 lakhs. So after from 1st of October, I have received 45 lakhs. Therefore, on every rupee from 45 lakhs, I need to collect because I have exhausted the limit of 50 lakhs. So on 45 lakhs, if I take 0.1%, it will be 4,500. Next, financial year 21-22. Again, sale is 55 lakhs during the year. Outstanding balance as on first day of the year is 10 lakhs. Total receipt I have received is how much, sir? 45 lakhs. Outstanding balance is 20 lakhs. So therefore, no tax to be collected. Why? From that buyer, that 50 lakhs, let me again clarify, 50 lakhs per person, per buyer, per financial year. No doubt about it. Per person, per buyer, per financial year. So the seller will know for each buyer, he is going to reduce 50 lakhs. Then only he'll collect TCS on the receipt. So during the year, no doubt sales were 50 lakhs. How much I have received from buyer, sir? Only 45 lakhs. Below the threshold limit of 50 lakhs. Therefore, I'm not going to collect a single penny. Now, same example again, if you see here, sales. Here again, they are telling total receipt is, 65 lakhs, outstanding balance is 10 lakhs, tax to be collected is, 1,500. Here it is, the tax shall be collected on the receipt in excess of 50 lakhs. That is 15 lakhs. So 65 is the total receipt minus 50 lakhs is the threshold limit into 15 lakhs. That is 15 lakhs into 0.1%. Now, there are several media reports, several WhatsApp messages. This is beautifully clarified by the government of India in the press release itself. What are they telling? Media report number 1. TCS has been made applicable to amount received even before 1st of October 2020. So the press release, they are telling, please, it is clarified. This report is not correct. Kindly note, TCS shall be applicable only on the amount received on or after 1st of October 2020. For example, a seller who has received 1 crore before 1st of October 20 from a particular buyer and he receives 5 lakhs after 1st of October 20, then would be required to collect tax only on 5 lakh rupees only and not on 55 lakhs. That is 1.05 crore minus 50 lakhs threshold by including amount received before 1st of October 2020. This as per the press release I told you. Very clear. Again, second media report, which created, confusion in the minds of the chartered accountants as well as the business community. Every transaction will attract TCS. Again, press release, they are telling this report is not correct. When will TCS apply? Only when the receipt of sale consideration will exceed 50 lakh rupees in a financial year. As the threshold is based on the yearly receipt, it may be noted that only for the purpose of calculation of the threshold of 50 lakhs, receipt from the beginning of financial year. See here, clarification is there. From 1st April 20 shall be taken. For example, in the above illustration, this is all taken from the press release. Seller has to collect tax on receipt of 5 lakh after 1st of October. Why? Because the receipts from 1st April 20, that is 1.05 crore, exceeded the specified threshold of rupees 50 lakhs. Then, further, the seller in most of the cases maintain running account of the buyer in which payments are generally not linked to a particular sale invoice. Please understand, very beautifully government is clarifying. Are you going to link the payment which is received with a particular sale invoice? Therefore, in order to simplify and to reduce the compliance of the collector, what are they telling? TCS provision shall be applicable on amount of all sale consideration received on or after 1st October 2020 without making any adjustment for the amount received in respect of the sales made before 1st October 2020. Very simple, sir. He's telling, I don't know now. 5 years back, I made sale to Mr. Nayak. 5 years back, I made. 5 years back, I made sale to Prashant. 10 years back, I made sale to Nilima. Today, I have received the amount. When? After 1st of October. So what the law is telling? You have received amount of sale consideration after 1st of October. Please take the threshold limit 50 lakhs. Collect TCS. I am not bothered. Practically, how do you do it now? Please identify all the sellers, all the buyers, your clients. Please identify everybody. Now, what is happening in the industry? What is happening in the market? What is happening with business community? What are they doing? They are following 3 methods, my dear professionals. First method is identify all the buyers. The seller, my client is a seller. I have to identify all the buyers. First, identify the seller whose turnover is more than 10 crores in the previous year. No problem, sir. Next, as on 1st of October, please identify the debtors in the books of the seller from whom more than 50 lakhs is receivable. Very good. First,
what is the industry doing? They raise debit note on the amount to be received as on 1st of October itself. Raise a debit note on the amount receivable. Secondly, you include it in the invoice itself. These are all opinions. You include that TCS in the invoice itself. Third one, they are telling at the end of every month, at the end of the 30th or 31st of the month, I am going to raise a debit note on the receipts received from the buyer. I will raise a debit note. I will raise a separate debit note numbered only for this purpose. Debit notes will be numbered only for collection of TCS. I will raise a debit note at the end of every month on what? On the receipts. Such that I receive the TCS. Next month I have to remit, sir, before 7th. So 30th they are telling I will raise a debit note with the buyer. Follow up with the buyer. Collect the TCS. Remit the TCS before 7th of next month. So that the buyer can claim TCS. There is no loss to anybody, sir. Buyer to that extent will pay less advance tax, less TDS, less self-assessment tax. Where is the loss? Collect the PAN. Be careful. Take the PAN. Don't fall into hassles. Clear-cut PAN. No mistake. Collect TCS and then you remit. So this industry is following 3 methods. I repeat again. 1st of October, raise all debit notes on the amount receivable. They say amount whatever is receivable as on 1st of October. I am raising debit note on single day on the entire balance. Second one, I am going to include the TCS in all the sale bill effected after 1st of October, rather after 30th September. From 1st of October, all the sale bills. Then what happens? If you put the TCS, when do I collect TCS? Only on receipt. Now tomorrow what happens now? The sale, there are sales returns. Why do you worry? There are sales returns, there are bad debts, etc. You raise again debit note. What will happen? They are telling only on receipt. So in any case also, if there are discount is there, if there are sales returns is there, don't worry. We are not bothered. Why? Only on the receipt, I need to collect the TCS basically. Suppose advance. Now you're telling, sir, I have received 1 crore advance. I have received 1 crore advance from Mr. Nayak for purchase of goods. I am the seller. So 1 crore I have received advance. Very good, sir. More than 50 lakhs. So on the advance received, please collect TCS. Then they say, sir, after 2 months, you and Nayak are not on good terms. The contract did not go through. You want to cancel the contract. Where is the problem, sir? The TCS anyway, he's going to claim. TCS cannot be reversed at any cost. If you have collected TCS from Mr. Nayak, remitted to the credit of government, government will not give you refund of TCS, sir. Where is the worry, sir? For 1 crore rupees, less 50 lakhs, on that 50 lakhs, 0.075% up to 31st of March 21, 3,750 rupees. Please take a conservative view. My humble opinion, please take a conservative view. Don't be aggressive. Don't take aggressive view. 1 crore minus 50 lakhs, on 50 lakhs, 0.075% or even 1%, 5,000 rupees. What is there, sir? He will claim. Let the advance be refunded. I'll refund the advance, sir. There is no problem. I'll raise a debit note. I'll collect that amount and I'll refund that 1 crore. Where is the problem? Let the advance be cancelled. But the problem will come because in 26 AS, that advance is reflected because TCS is collected from the buyer, seller. So, 26 AS, they are telling, oh, what is this? Again, where is the income? There is no income component, but I am claiming TCS. Wait for some time. 27 EQ, changes will come. In 27 EQ, the government will make changes suitably. Entire India is going digital. The world is watching at India. Just wait for a year or so. How beautifully the government has worked is you will come to know faceless assessment, faceless appeal, faceless penalty. None of them could imagine, sir. And today I am telling you, you have not bothered before doing the audit. My humble views are before doing the audit. Open the portal, see the compliance portal. What is it called? Project Insight. 360-degree profile of the taxpayer is there, sir. You have got income from other sources, it is available. You have got income from house property, it is available. You have sold a property, it is available. You have withdrawn 1 crore, more than 1 crore or 10 crores or whatever from bank account or current account or SBI account, it is available. Shares you have sold, demat account. Client has not shown you. Don't worry, sir. You need not worry. Straight go on the compliance portal. 360-degree profile of the client is there under the compliance portal. Even if you see, all of you are feeling very happy. Assessment year 1920, return, filing of return due date is extended by 1 month. Excellent. That is not for you, sir, or not for a client. It is for the department. Why? You go to the compliance portal today. There some information is there. There are 3-4 tabs. In one tab, there is high value transaction. Listen carefully. High value transaction will give you the details of financial year. Which one? 18-19, assessment year 19-20. Government is telling financial year 1920, I have got some information, or 1819, that is assessment year 1920. Therefore, very cleverly, 1 month extended. What are they telling taxpayer? My dear taxpayer, please see, go to that compliance portal, see financial year 1819, high value transaction, click, what will come? All information will come. Suppose cash withdrawal is there. Suppose you have made one FD of 1 crore in a cooperative bank. So now when they see that cooperative bank, 1 crore, you are not declared. They are telling revise the return. I am giving you time. Income tax department is giving you time. You now file a revised return, disclose that 1 crore FD if you have not disclosed. Or there is some interest received on FD, you are not disclosed. Or there is some share sold. There are some mutual funds sold. You are not disclosed. So now they are telling you revise the return. This is for them, sir, not for us. Don't feel happy. Due date is extended. This is because of this compliance portal. Anyway, for this year, what you need to see is check on the compliance portal under significant transaction, not under high value transaction. High value transaction is for last year. Next year when we come, sir, for again high value transaction, financial year 2021. So that high value transaction is for the last year. Significant transaction is for the current year. When you see the significant transaction current year, you can see income from house property, income from all your mutual fund sale. How beautifully everything is linked now. There will be differences at the beginning, sir. Every reform, there are bound to be some differences at the beginning. Let it settle down. I am telling you, this will be if it succeeds, it should succeed over a period of time, because this one will increase the tax base, will increase the widening of tax base, deepening of tax base. So do not complete the audit without going through this portal. Please be careful. In case assessment year 1920, anything is left out, kindly revise the return. There is time. Anyway, so here if you see, I told you industry is following 3 methods, sir. So you can decide whichever is convenient to you. Whichever is convenient to you, you inform your client. What about SAP? What about Tally? What about Tally ERP? How will you make the entries there? You have to tell them how to make the entries. Or in the sale receipt, if you tell them in TCS, you are including in sales, for example. For example, you are advising a client, ತಲೆನೋವೇ ಬೇಡಪ್ಪ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಯಾಕೆ ತಲೆನೋವು at the in the bottom of the sale invoice, please tell them that I will collect TCS to be collected on receipt of above 50 lakhs. So at least there you write. Otherwise, debit note you have to follow up. So because there will be a lot of debit notes through the year, probably 12 debit notes for 12 months probably, because at the end of each month if you follow that. Next. Now you say media report, one more media report, they are telling TCS is an additional tax. I told you, where is the question of additional tax, sir? You pay less, no? Instead of advance tax, pay less advance tax, that's all. Next. Whether TCS shall be applicable only on receipt exceeding 50 lakhs by a seller from particular, I told you, per buyer, per seller, per financial year. If there are 10 different sellers, person is making payment of 1 crore to 10 different sellers, total tax collected shall be how much? Only 50,000. That too, this year it's only 37,500 this year. That is how 10 into 0.1% of 1 crore minus 50 lakh on the total payment made for purchase of 10 crore to 10 different sellers. Nothing to worry. Next. So this again, next media report says every seller will have to collect TCS, which is incorrect again. That business turnover should exceed 10 crores. So department is giving you the startling figures. Department is telling that press release, there are only around 3.5 lakh persons who have disclosed business turnover of more than 10 crores in financial year 1819. They themselves are telling hardly 3.5 lakh persons have disclosed turnover of more than 10 crores. There are around 18 lakh entities which already deal with TDS and TCS. 18 lakh entities. Therefore, this TCS collection under these new provisions would be required to be made by persons who in most of the cases would already be complying with the other provisions of TDS and TCS. Next. Again, the department clarifies here whether for calculating amount of sales of 50 lakhs, the sales made before 1st of October 2020 shall be considered. So we discussed, sir, when is this, introduced? It was introduced Finance Act 2020, made applicable from 1st of October in middle of the year. Therefore, what happens? Sale consideration received for sales affected up to 30th September. Shall be considered while determining the threshold of 50 lakhs only we discussed. So there is no problem. Now, again, they say CBDT has clarified since the threshold of 50 lakh is with respect to financial year, calculation of receipt of sale consideration for triggering TCS shall be computed from 1st April 2020 for the threshold limit. There is no doubt. You can easily understand, sir. Absolutely no problem. See the press note now. Now you see these examples based on press note. Sales made to a buyer is less than 50 lakh rupees up to 30th of September. So sale up to 30th September, 35 lakhs. Amount received up to 30th September is only 25 lakhs. Invoices raised from 1st of October is 30 lakhs. So already 25 lakhs have received. So balance how much? Only 25 lakhs only, no? So here what they say, TCS shall be applicable beyond receipt of 50 lakhs. Therefore, on the initial receipt of 25 lakhs after 1st of October, TCS shall not be applicable. Consequently, TCS shall be applicable as and when you are 40 lakhs, that is 65, or that is 35 sales plus invoices 30, 65 minus 25 lakhs, 40 lakhs shall be received. Sales made to buyer is more than 50 lakhs up to 30th September. So 65 lakhs up to 30th September sale. Amount received up to 30th September is 30 lakhs. Invoices raised is 20 lakhs. So how to calculate, sir? I told you beyond receipt of 50 lakhs. Therefore, on the initial receipt of 20 lakhs after 1st of October, why amount already received is 30. TCS shall not be applicable. Only 20 remains. Consequently, TCS shall be applicable as and when balance 35 lakhs. That is 65 sale plus your post 30th September, add both the sales minus amount received. That is 50 lakhs whenever they receive. 30 plus 20. So again, like these examples are given. How and when to charge TCS from buyer, we discussed this. I discussed all the three methods which is, now prevailing in the market. First is was if TCS is mentioned on the invoice, liability is created on the buyer to make payment to TCS to the seller at the time of sale of goods. So what will happen? In this case, both buyer and seller need to do accounting as receivable and payable for these amounts. It may be noted that if the payment is being made in the next financial year, understand here what is the problem if you put it in the sales invoice. Suppose you put in the sales invoice. Okay, sir. Now, this amount is not collected on receipt of consideration. This amount may be received next year or in the next year, or after 2 years. So what will happen? Suppose next year, when he receives the amount, this year his sales contribution from seller falls below 10 crores. It falls below 10 crores. Then next year I can't collect. Okay. Or suppose next year he closed down the business. It may be noted the payment is being made in next financial year. TCS obligation may not be applicable on seller due to turnover threshold. Example that 50 lakhs or the 10 crores or buyer, 50 lakhs, it doesn't collect. Then what will you do? Or may not be applicable on the buyer due to not making payments, breaching collection threshold. Buyer is 50 lakhs, seller 10 crores in that financial year. In those cases, one need to keep track, write off and reconcile with the liability. You have to keep track. Or the second method I told you, separate commercial debit note raised to the buyer on the date of sale of goods itself. On the date of sale of goods itself, you raise all the debit notes. Or alternative number 3 is what? First, I told you, you include it in your sale bill invoice or raise a commercial debit note to the buyer on the sale of goods itself. You are not including in the sale bill, sir. You are including you are raising a separate commercial debit note. Or alternative 3, raise a debit note at the end of every month to the buyer on what? For the amounts received by the seller during that particular month. So therefore, the logic for issuance of debit note may be that debit note to be issued at the time of payment only, so that it can be charged only on the eligible cases and there are no hassles of write-off, etc. As mentioned in the above points, they are made in future. But in that case, a specific series of debit note number may be used to make sure that these debit notes do not create issues in GST compliance. My dear friends, you should also have to reconcile with the GST returns. For the purpose of GST, the sales turnover is something else. Purpose of turnover income tax is something else. Therefore, that problem also will come. Therefore, very carefully make entries in the books of accounts. Whether TCS is to be collected on total invoice value, including GST, very, very simple, sir. Why do you worry? Already board has come out with a circular long back in 17, telling what? No tax shall be deducted on 17B if the GST on services is indicated separately. However, the above clarification issued by CBDT covers only tax deduction under 17B, whereas 206C of the Act is governed by Chapter 17BB. Therefore, further what happened? If you go to the portal of the department has issued on the TDS FAQ clarifies as follows. Whether TCS can be collected on amount inclusive of GST. As per 206C1, every person being a seller shall at the time of debiting of amount payable by the buyer to the account of the buyer or the time of receipt of such amount from said buyer, collect from the buyer. Hence, amount debited to account of buyer or payment shall be received by seller inclusive of your VAT, excise or GST, because it is given at the time when VAT excise were prevailing. TCS to be collected on inclusive of GST. So therefore, now what is the clarification? CBDT has also clarified in the board circular dated 29 September that TCS need to be discharged on sale consideration received. No adjustment on account of GST is to be done. So therefore, when you talk about this adjustment of sales return, discount, indirect taxes, what is this? Hereby clarified that no adjustment on account of sales returns or discount or indirect taxes, including GST, is required to be made for collection of tax under 1H of this section 206A, since the collection is made with reference to receipt of amount of sale consideration. Take a vice versa case now. Whether GST should be charged by seller on the amount of sale consideration, including TCS. So GST can I charge on the sale including TCS? So here I have given the circular number 76/5018 dated 31/12/18. It was clarified as per 15(2) of CGST Act, the taxable value for purposes of GST will include TCS amount collected under provisions of the Act, since the value to be paid to the supplier by buyer is inclusive of said TCS. Wait, don't panic. Again, if you see, however, in the light of representation received from stakeholders, the matter was re-examined in consultation with the board, and board finally clarifies that TCS is not tax on goods. It's only an interim levy on the possible income arising from the sale of goods by the buyer and is to be adjusted against final income tax liability of the buyer. Therefore, my dear friends, CBIC issued a corrigendum dated 7th March 19, and it clarified, for the purpose of determination of value of supply under GST, TCS under the Income Tax Act would not be includable. Why? Because it is just an interim levy. It does not have the character of the income tax. Therefore, GST would not be applicable on TCS component. Advance color received from buyer, we discussed, sir. We discussed. What will happen? Suppose you want to adjust the advance, then there is no problem. Suppose you don't want to adjust the advance. In future, what happens? What is the clarification telling? Yeah, you took the advance for sale of goods. In future, you will adjust against sale of goods. Please go ahead and collect TCS. Suppose in future, you adjust that advance against any loan, not against sale consideration, against any deposit or against any loan. But then they are telling, please do not collect TCS. If such is the intention, kindly do not collect TCS. As long as the intention is to adjust the advance payment against the future sale of goods, tax should be collected at the time of receipt of consideration. If the advance payment is not made with an intention to adjust it against future sale, like deposit or loan, but eventually it's adjusted against future sale, no tax is required to be collected at the time of receipt of such advance. Next. So para 4.4.2 of this circular number 17, clearly it says that it will apply on what, sir? Receipt of sale consideration. So therefore, it would apply on all sale consideration, including advance. I am not telling, sir. Board circular is telling, including advance received. Cut, copy, paste of this board circular, para 4.4.2. Consequently, it would apply on all sale consideration, including advance received for sale, received on or after 1st of October, even if the sale was carried out before 1st October. Therefore, next, what about advance received before 1/10/20 and for sale to be made after this date will be subjected to TCS? So very simple, he's telling advance is received before 1/10 for sale to be made after this date. It would apply on all sale consideration, including advance of sale received on or after 1/10, even if the sale was carried out before 1st of October. In simple words, tax should be collected where the amount is received on and after 1st of October. What is the trigger event? I told you, one is the liability. What is the trigger event? Only on the receipt of sale consideration. On the contrary, where the sale has been made before the date of applicability of the provision, but the sale consideration received after the sale date, same shall be subject to TCS. Next, since the TCS to be collected on advance payments, what shall be the course of action in the case where the advance has been refunded as the sale is not affected? I told you, what is there to worry? Even if it's collected higher amount, same will be deposited with the government. Buyer can claim credit. That's all. Because there is no refund, sir. Whether the amount received as a loan from buyer shall come within the ambit of this provision. So when is the collection to be made, sir? At the time of receipt of consideration for sale of goods. Since the loan received from buyer is not a consideration for sale, it will remain outside the purview. But F at a future date, I'm going vice versa. That loan amount is settled against the sale consideration. Then when the liability will arise, not on the date of receipt of loan, but on the date of adjustment of loan against the sale consideration, immediately I have to raise a debit invoice on the date. When on the date of adjustment of loan against the sale made, on which date the tax shall be collected on the date on which the parties agreed to adjust the loan amount against the outstanding liability. What is the treatment of credit note for computation of TCS? Now, how to compute tax? Only on receipt of consideration received. From whom? From the buyer. So the adjustment made to the ledger of the buyer by issuing credit note will not have any impact on the tax to be collected. You reduce, make what all adjustments you want. Only at the time of what is the net receivable, what you receive only, you are going to collect the tax. If the buyer has multiple units, whether sales made to different units needs to be aggregated. Obviously, different units of buyer, if they are under the same PAN or same Aadhaar, then all the amount received from all the units will be aggregated to compute the limit of 50 lakhs. If different units of buyer are under the same PAN or Aadhaar, amount received from all such units shall be aggregated to receive the limit of 50 lakhs. What about transfer of goods, sir, from one branch to another? Bangalore to Mangalore. Now, Ravindra Kore has a branch in Bangalore, has a branch in, Mangalore also. I told you that Kore hardware stores. Branch to branch, GST is applicable, sir. I am not talking about GST. In Income Tax Act, same PAN. They are telling they are not two distinct parties. There is no seller, there is no buyer. It is under the same PAN, the same Aadhaar number, same proprietor. Therefore, existence of two distinct parties are a must. That is a seller and a buyer. Why? To collect the TCS. There should be a seller and there should be a buyer. Condition of sale is not fulfilled. There is no sale in the context of branch transfer. Therefore, the provisions of this section shall not be applicable in case of branch transfers. Now, can I obtain lower deduction certificate, sir? Now, all the members, you are questioning, can I obtain lower deduction? Sorry, it is clearly given under 206C subclause 9. 206C subsection 9. It says, I am not extending this benefit to apply for lower tax collection for the section 206C 1H. Therefore, there is no option for you to approach the AO to issue lower tax collection certificate for transactions covered under 206C 1H. So whether TCS would be applicable in case TDS is also applicable on particular transaction, there's no problem, sir. This provision will not apply. We saw that already. It is given in that proviso itself. Buyer, if he is liable to deduct tax at source under any provision of this act on the goods purchased by him from the seller and has deducted such amount, then he's telling, I'm not going to, the seller is not bound to collect TCS from such buyer. Example, they are telling here, in case of works contract, both the goods and services are involved. However, such a transaction is covered under C and subjected to TDS thereunder. Hence, there shall not be any TCS on the work contract, only if the buyer has deducted the tax. Suppose there is no PAN, no Aadhaar of the buyer, what to do? What rate shall TCS be collected? It will be 1%, sir. What is 0.075% today, or what will be 1%, 0.1% from 0.1% from 1st of April 2021. Next, so 206C, it is overriding this. They have been specifically overruled. So 1%. Why? 206C says 5% actually. So this year telling only 1%. So 206C was telling, twice the rate applicable in the Income Tax Act or 5%, whichever is higher. Is a non-resident selling goods from outside India required to collect tax at source under this section? Definition of a buyer in the explanation A excludes any person importing goods into India from its ambit. Therefore, there is no obligation to collect tax at source in the hands of the non-resident seller. Now, I told you it is only on sale of goods. What is the definition of goods? Not defined, sir. Seller, buyer is defined. What is sale of goods? Not defined. So what to do? Go to Sale of Goods Act 1930. Go to CGST Act 2017. What do you mean by Sale of Goods Act 1930? What is the definition of sale? It says every kind of movable property other than actionable claims and money, and includes stocks and shares, growing crops, grass, and things attached to or forming part of land which are agreed to be severed before sale or under a contract of sale. What about our CGST Act 2017? Again, goods mean every kind of movable property other than your securities, other than your money, but includes actionable claim, including crops, grass, etc. So if you see, Sale of Goods Act 1930 is a specific statute which will deal with sale of goods, whereas CGST Act 17, which deals with tax on supply of goods. Therefore, you can refer, they are telling, therefore, you can refer the definition of goods under the Sale of Goods Act. Therefore, tax shall be collected from the sale consideration received from sale of any goods, provided the tax is not collected or deducted under any other provision of this Act. What about securities, sir? You are traded through stock exchanges. Are they subject to TCS under this provision? CBDT has clarified, telling what? TCS will not apply in relation to transactions in securities which are traded through recognized stock exchange or which are cleared and settled by recognized clearing corporations, including all your stock exchanges or clearing corporations located in IFSC. Where is IFSC in India? It is in Gift City, Ahmedabad. Anyway, next. Whether TCS to be collected on sale of immovable property by a developer, Sale of Goods Act, CGST Act, goods mean every kind of movable property. Therefore, immovable property shall not be treated as goods. Consequently, TCS shall not be collected from sale of immovable property by a developer. What about sale of motor vehicles? Very, very interesting, sir. Whether TCS shall be collected on sale of motor vehicle. So there is specific clause. We discussed there 206C1F. There is a specific clause on the sale of motor vehicle exceeding 10 lakh rupees. So tax is collected from every buyer who pays any amount as consideration for purchase of motor vehicle exceeding 10 lakhs. So Finance Act 2020 introduced general provision for collection of TCS on sale of goods under 206C1H. The provision will specifically exclude those TCS on motor vehicle which is covered under 206C1F from its ambit. Now what happened when it came in 16? The board had given a clarification telling that this TCS will not apply on the sale of motor vehicles by manufacturer to dealers or distributors. So if you see here in this circular number 16 dated 8th June, I have given that. Board is telling where TCS at the rate of 1% is on sale of motor vehicle at retail level or also on the sale of motor vehicle by manufacturer to dealer or distributor. So what is the board telling? No. Seller shall collect tax at rate of 1% only from purchaser on sale of motor vehicle value exceeding 10 lakhs. This is brought to cover all transactions of only retail sales. Accordingly, it will not apply on sale of motor vehicles by manufacturer to dealer or distributors. Therefore, what? Today also, sir, it will not apply on retail sales because it's covered in 206C1F. But on all sale of motor vehicles by manufacturer to dealer distributors will now come under this ambit of 206C1H. Similarly, if I were to purchase, 8 cars from Honda showroom, 8 lakhs each, retail sales exceeding 10 lakhs, I will purchase 8 cars today, 8 into 8, say for example, 8 lakhs, 64 lakhs. They are telling one person, one seller, one buyer. Therefore, on 64 lakhs, now even I have to, for me, I will not come under 206C1F. Why? Because it is not 10 lakhs, it is only 8 lakhs. So therefore, I will also unintentionally come under 206C1H and not 1F. So this clarification is also given by the board. You need not rack your brains. Board has given them. Again, few more clarifications are awaited. Don't worry, you will get shortly one more, clarification from the board. So here, what are they telling? Yes. In case of sale to consumer, receipt of sale consideration for sale of motor vehicle of value of 10 lakhs or less to a buyer would be subjected to 206C1H. If the receipt of sale consideration for such vehicles during previous year exceed 50 lakhs. In case of sale to consumer, receipt of sale consideration for sale of motor vehicle of the value exceeding 10 lakhs will be subjected to TCS under 1H of 206C if it is not subjected under 206C 1F. See this example. Car manufacturer having turnover of 20,000 crores during financial year 1920 makes sale of 100 crores to ABC Limited dealer during 1/4/20 to 30th September 20. Receipts during this period from ABC are 80 crores. Sale of 70 crores are made to ABC during 1/10 to 31st March and receipts during this period are 75 crores. Very simple, sir. What is the receipts during this period? Forget that 70 crores before 30th September. How much are received after 1st of October? 75 crores. 75 crores minus 50 lakhs, 0.075%, 74.5 crores. Matters. What about transaction in electricity? So, you may not be serving such clients anyway. So, national NTPC, in the context, of the Sales Tax Act, what did they say? Electricity is a movable property though it is not tangible. And electricity is also defined in the included in the Customs Tariff Act under heading 27160000, which also clarifies that electricity is a goods. Therefore, it is clear that electricity will be a good. Thus, the tax shall be collected from consideration received in respect of transaction in electricity. Now, what is the board clarified in para 4.1.22? It says that transaction electricity, renewable energy certificates and energy saving certificates traded through power exchanges registered under regulation 21 of the CERC shall be out of the scope of TCS under this provision. Therefore, it can conclude that tax is required to be collected where electricity is purchased directly from electricity generation companies. Again, non-resident airlines, they are telling sale on the sale consideration received from the fuel supplied to non-resident airlines at airports in India, it will not apply. Fuel supplied to non-resident airlines. Now, what about on sale of software, sir? So, Supreme Court in the Tata Consultants TCS held that canned software, off-the-shelf software are goods, and as such, they are accessible to sales tax. Hence, the requirement to collect TCS shall be decided on the basis whether the sale of software has been treated as goods or sale of service. If it is sale of service, 194J or 195 as the case may be. Suppose if the sale of software has been treated as sale of goods, then the seller shall be liable to collect TCS subject to fulfillment of all other conditions. What about sale of jewelry by jeweler, sir? That up to previous year 16-17, up to that assessment year 17-18, that 1%, lot of confusion in the market, jewelry, that 1% from sale consideration received on cash, on sale of jewelry, bullion, etc. That provision has been omitted by Finance Act 17 with effect from 1/4/17. So therefore what? They also come under this TCS now, 206C 1H. Whether it applies on resale of goods, sir? Very, very interesting. Suppose Mr. A buys jewelry of 60 lakhs from a jeweler. A buys jewelry from the jeweler. Jeweler will collect tax of 1,000 because it is 0.1% of 10 lakhs under section 206C 1H. If Mr. A resells the jewelry for 70 lakhs to the same jeweler, then he shall not be liable to collect tax as he is not engaged in business or profession. Clearly, law is telling seller from the business carried on by him. Business carried on by him. Who should obtain TAN? So seller would be required, sir, to obtain TAN. No problem. How to deposit TCS? You know that. ITNS 281. What is the due date to deposit TCS? On or before the 7th day of the next month in which tax is collected. What are the consequences for failure to collect or pay TCS? As usual, sir, interest at the rate of 1% per month or part of a month. So how will the interest be calculated? Calculated from the period, from the date on which tax was required to be collected, ending on the date on tax is required to be deposited. And the interest is to be required to be paid before furnishing the TCS return. So whether the seller, shall be treated as assessee in default, if the buyer pays tax due on income declared Hindustan Coca-Cola Beverages Supreme Court, or on 40A1, 40IA, what happens? Suppose I took a loan from Mr. Nayak. I took a loan from Nayak, 1 crore. I paid him interest, 10 lakhs. I did not deduct TDS. Nayak has offered the 10 lakhs in his return of income. So therefore, law is telling, don't worry, I will not face 40IA consequences. No 30% disallowance. Why? Mr. Nayak would have declared that, would have considered that in filing his return of income. Return of income is filed. He has paid tax on 10 lakhs. Then what will department do from me? No, sir, you only pay interest. You pay interest, don't deduct TDS. From when interest, sir? From the date the tax was deductible to the date of deduction to the date of payment of self-assumed tax by Mr. Nayak. You pay interest. So, but this facility is not there for TCS, sir. Please understand. You will tell tomorrow, seller and buyer, you collected, sir. Seller collected from buyer. You did not collect TCS. Buyer has taken that while calculation of, in his trading account, profit and loss account. Sorry, there is no such provision here. Don't confuse. There is no such provision here. It may be a good case to argue at the tribunal level, but there is no such provision here till now as on date. Next. What is the due date for filing of TCS returns? Form 27 EQ. Wait, sir, sooner or later, because of this advance, etc., in 27 EQ, they are going to make some changes online itself. What will happen? Opening balance, sales made during the year, receipts during the year, closing balance. All problems will be solved. You just wait and watch. April to June, due date is 15th of July. July to September, it is 15th of October. October to December, 15th of January. And then January to March, it is 15th May, okay, of the financial year, immediately following the financial year in which collection is made. Consequences of non-filing of TCS return: 234E fee, that is 200 rupees per day till the default continues, such that it is restricted to the total amount collectible or deductible. Then fee shall be payable before submission of belated TDS or TCS statement. Suppose you fail to file the TCS return or you do not file it by the due date, he shall be liable to pay penalty under 271H. Then what is the minimum amount of penalty, sir? 10,000, which can also extend up to 1 lakh of rupees. So I have given a practical illustration also. Last question for discussion, because I think I have reached my time. Other, nothing to worry, sir. They are all simple. I have shared my, presentation also with the chairman. Now, what is to be done now? Ultimately, now you have to become alert. Now, you have to, advise the businessman what steps to be taken in the books of accounts as well. Firstly, the seller shall check whether the provisions are applicable on this. For this, the key is the sales or gross receipts of turnover immediately preceding financial year. Then identify customers from whom receipts for consideration for sale of goods is more than 50 lakhs during the year. For these customers which have already breached the threshold or potential customer who may cross the threshold shall be identified. Then the entity may insert a specific line item in invoice to charge TCS, or it may charge TCS to debit note. Your convenience, sir. Further, it has to be also marked made invoice that our debit note format becomes remains GST compliant. Very important. Not only TCS, also you have to make it GST compliant. You have to fill up in others column in GST. Then how will you basically reconcile? Be careful. Buyer shall be intimated in advance regarding levy of TCS provision and obligation on him to pay for TCS. Open a separate ledger account in the books to account for the TCS receivable from customer and TCS payable to the government. A separate ledger account will help in reporting and reconciliation. Then set up the checklist and procedure for compliance of such deposit of TCS, filing of statement, issuance of certificate to buyer. So I have completed this important section, sir. TCS that required only an in-depth discussion. That is what the people were also asking, all my professional friends, and I think I have reached my time. And other sections, don't worry, I have given everything. All explanations are there. Thank you very much, sir, for a very patient hearing.
Thank you very much, C.A. Naveen Kariwalji, sir. It was indeed a wonderful presentation. I think all the questions were really very apt for the present scenario, so that every person understands the importance of how the TCS and TDS has changed and how it will be impacting after the 1st of October 2020. So I would like to take up few queries here.
Yeah, please.
Yes, we have a question from Chandrakant Rao. TCS is calculated on sale consideration exceeding 50 lakhs or on sale consideration receipt exceeding 50 lakhs.
Sir, I told you, if you take the section, if you take the circular, if you take the press release, what interpretation you can do is not on the sale consideration. It is amount received towards sale consideration, not on the sale consideration. The invoice may be 10 crores. But if you have received only 40 crores, in my humble opinion, you are not liable. Buyer or seller is not liable to collect TCS. Only when you breach or when you cross the threshold limit of 50 lakhs, you will have to collect TCS from the buyer. Next question.
Okay, thank you. Next one, another question from Chandrakant Rao. If seller of tour package is based in a country outside India, will he be made liable to collect TCS?
That, yes, sir. Yeah, 206C1G. You are telling the tour operator he is outside of India. He is outside of India. You mean to say the cell? One second. The tour operator is 206C1G and he is outside of India. Pardon, sir? Yeah, just tell me.
Should I repeat the question?
Yeah, please tell me. Please tell me.
If seller of tour package is based in a country.
Yeah. Based in a country?
Is based in a country outside India, will he be made liable to collect TCS?
No, I don't think so. You need to be a resident in India.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we have no more questions. Those were the questions from our delegates. Thank you once again, sir, for the wonderful session. If our chairman, sir, has to give any closing remarks for this session, I request him to take over.
Our CA Naveen Kariwal.
Sir, I can see one more question on the screen. Barter transaction of goods. So barter, there is no question of any TCS, sir. It is only under consideration.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, CA Naveen Kariwal ji, it was a wonderful session as usual. No wonder for us that you have delivered like this, because we already seen your batting in our first innings in the last March Vivad Se Vishwas. Even second innings also you have hit the century. In both the innings you have hit the century. That's why our participants are also more than 1.5 century also. So thank you very much for being with us with your valuable time, as well as sharing your rich knowledge amongst all our fraternity. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us. And we always love to have you physically also in our future seminars also.
Thank you.
Future, so that we can have a lot of inputs from you, which will be very useful for our members. Even department people have also applauded your the way of presentation. Really hats off to you. And we are very proud that member like CA Naveen Kariwal is our one of the great source of inspiration for all of us. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So now it's time we move on to our session 2 on audit under COVID environment and paperless office. A very much needed topic for the present scenario, because everyone is confused. How should the audit be conducted in this present scenario? Work from home, whether should we go paperless? How should be the online auditing be done? So this session would be an answer to all the queries that you all have. So today we have CA Prashant KL, partner of Guru and Jana from 2006. He's a CA with 17 years of experience and is a diploma in information systems audit. He is certified under the international taxation course conducted by the ICAI and is specialized in indirect and direct taxes. He is the head. He's a finance and tax. His professional experience includes finance and taxation at UB Group of Companies, heads the central monitoring team at Arvind Group of Companies, and has conducted a number of seminars and conferences, also being the co-author of the book on international taxation published by the KSCAA, co-author on book on GST, Where Did My Profits Go? An illustrative narrative of GST law. He's been a speaker at the ICAI and the Indian Tax Department and other professional forums, including presenting papers in Dubai, Delhi, and the ICAI chambers in Bangalore, and also presented papers in the regional conference. It is indeed a happy moment to have you today with us, sir. Thank you. And as the co-speaker today, we have CA Nilima Jayanti, who is a chartered accountant with 11 years of experience and a Bachelor of Business Management from SK University, AP. She is also a partner at the Guru and Jana from 2011 and has specialization in real estate and retail sector. She has given a number of seminars and conferences at the ICAI chambers in Bangalore and presented a number of topics of her professional interest. At office, their aim is to be the number one firm which files its income tax returns on 1st of April and contributing to be consistent in this mission. It is indeed a wonderful thing to have you with us, ma'am, today. And we are also happy that you are the first women member who's going to address the particular virtual CPE meet today. So both of you all, we are very happy to have you and a warm welcome to you all to this particular session. Over to you to discuss and give us an insight on how can the audit be undertaken in this COVID environment and how can we go about with being a paperless office.
Thank you, Yashaswini. That was a generous introduction. Thanks a lot. And happy evening, members and students of the Mangalore branch. My regards to Mr. Nayak, the chairman of the Mangalore branch, and Mr. Ravindra Kore, the chairman of the Bangalore branch. So it was an electrifying topic, though, the way Naveen went through the entire topic. So from being electrifying, now it is time for us to embrace some electronics and software. That is what makes truly possible some audit during COVID times and also paperless office. So the paperless office is a topic most relevant than ever before now. Look at the scenario of the entire business that is going on across the globe now. Everything is open and people are just moving out. But then there is one organization which is just staying back home and still working. That's our office, Guru and Jana. We're all working from home now. We have taken the safety of the members as the most important matter and let them work from home. The COVID lockdown, in fact, started on 22nd of March, if I remember, when the government locked down. But when we declared the work from home, it was 15th March itself. We were prepared earlier, where all the systems went to the homes of the people and they had access to everything that is required in order to perform the work. This is possible only because the firm could embrace technology for every aspect of the operations that is possible. Today's topic is divided into two parts: audit during COVID times and paperless office. As we take the today's topic, I first invite my partner Neelima to address on the topic audit during COVID times. She is an audit partner. She handles the audit of some of the very large companies and niche companies in the country today, some of the retail giants too. After that, I would come back to paperless office and then I can pitch in whenever Neelima would like me to talk. So over to you, Neelima, to start with.
Thank you, Prashant. Thank you, Yashashwini. Thank you, Naikji, and thank you, Ravindra Kaureji. So as Prashant said, after a very electrifying session of Naveenji, so it is a challenge for me to keep the pulse of the audience high and to continue the same spirit. I wish I would really do it. So happy evening, one and all. Yes. So today's my topic would be on the audit during the COVID environment, or whatever you phrase, COVID during the audit season of late. Because when we initially started, we never knew this would continue for so long. So now COVID has become a part of all the audit environment too. So when we initially started, maybe in March, so I'm very sure most of us would have found difficult to work from home. How do we do, how do we work from home? The data is all lying somewhere in the server, somewhere in the hard disk, somewhere in the office. How do we access the data online? How do we coordinate with the clients? How do we do audit? But I'm sure down the line, March till September, each of us have found out a lot of ways and methodologies to actually do the audit. And I can say another alternative ways to actually do the audit and close the audit. And of course, the due dates have been extended again and again, time and again. And of course, even the due dates are extended. There has been a lot of pressure from the banks, from the investors to submit your audited financial statements, which actually, makes us, actually compels us to really close the audit, working from home, of course, remotely. So I'm very sure if as anybody asks you the question, who has been responsible for tech initiatives of your organization? Is it your CIO? Is it your CTO? Is it your senior partner? I'm sure you would watch. The answer would be it is COVID for sure. So the next 40-45 minutes, I would maybe majorly focus on the methodology of the audits, both statutory and internal. I would like to touch upon a lot of practical aspects. How do we actually handle a particular situation using various tools, what we have been doing. So would like to pick up a couple of tools on the statutory audit part and a couple of tools on the internal audit part. You would have read probably a lot of other articles and journals saying, okay, we have AI, we have robotics and all. But I would talk in a very, very simple methodology, which probably would really not require much of cost, which can be easily afforded by each of us. And that's how the presentation goes. So when it comes to statutory audit, so a few points where we actually need to be focused upon. So first thing, so it says performing audits remotely, alternative procedures. Say for example, if somebody is scared of an escalator, what do? We simply take the stairs, that's all. So there is always an alternative for everything. So it is up to us, how do we creatively use it? How do we make use of the existing resources? How do we adopt these alternative procedures and ensure whatever is required by your accounting standards, by your auditing standards is all complied upon? Say if whatever is the auditing evidence standard. So when it talks about audit evidence, so the collection of evidence is what is important. So it doesn't say how do we collect evidence. So we are free to actually adopt our alternative procedures and then actually collect the audit evidences. The second thing, going concern, a very, very major challenge which has the COVID pandemic has actually hit a lot of sectors directly, could be in terms of airlines, your travel, hospitality directly and indirectly, a lot of other sectors as well. So is there an impact of going concern on the financials of the company? Say, for example, as big as you must have seen in the news, as big as the car rental company Hertz has filed for its bankruptcy. Gold Gym, US leading company of the Gold Gym, the gymming chain of more than 700 plus chain of gyms in more than, I can say, which is 50-year-old company, has also filed for its bankruptcy. So when big chains are actually not being paid by this pandemic, so how about a lot of mid, small segment organizations and the impact on it? So it is very important as an auditor, how do we ensure that the going concern aspect holds good? Please talk to the management and make sure that the management, the company is in a good position to continue for the next 12 months. Ask them to give the supportings, their views, their supporting could be in terms of cash flows, could be in terms of operational continuation. How can the business continue for the next 12 months? Get the document, evaluate the details and make sure that the company is capable of being a going concern for the next 12 months. So if you're happy with the replies of the management after you have evaluated, fine, you can actually put in the emphasis of matter in the audit report and then go ahead. But in case you think the going concern assumption is not appropriate, please go ahead and issue an adverse audit report. Coming to the next point, so scope limitations. So again, considering the pandemic, there can be some limitations in terms of scope. For example, there can be a limitation on a particular test of on a particular control mechanism in place. So being working offline, it may not be practically possible for us to test and confirm on the particular controls existence and whether it is actually valid, whether it is actually in place or not. So like we have seen in the case of going concern, please see if you have another alternative procedure. If you do not have alternative procedure, please try to get it in your audit report very clearly in terms of emphasis of matter or an adverse opinion or a disclaimer opinion. The next thing, subsequent events. Is there any subsequent events specially related to COVID which will impact your financials? One good example could be your investment in your investments. Could be in terms of your market, the market value of the investments could have taken a hit considering the COVID situation. So for March 20, if there are any subsequent events because of which the value of investments has actually gone down, has actually substantially gone down, please ensure the adjustment is made to these investments in the financial statements. So these are a few important aspects to be considered during a statutory audit as an auditor. Going ahead. So inventory verification and physical asset, fixed asset verification. These are two important things where we have always been there physically to do the inventory check, could be in terms of fixed asset check. So doing it remotely is something I'm sure each of us would have never ever imagined. We could do an inventory verification for one of our clients. We did it remotely. So what we did is we did a combination of a video call clubbed with the location tagging. So we have asked the clients to actually click a picture, show the way when they're entering into the warehouse, do a video call just to make sure they are in a particular warehouse. And we said, once you go in, please send us a location, live location of wherever you are. And we had multiple calls where the client was in a factory, the team was somewhere, the team lead, the manager was there in some other location. Because most of the members, I'm sure, would have gone back to their natives, especially if somebody is a non-local employee, they would have gone back to their natives. So each of them was working in a different location. It is very, very important for us to ensure necessary right instructions are given to the team when we have something like this going on. So a few pictures, for example, so the first picture where we see that was a client who was actually showing a bin card data. The second was where he was picking up the items from the carton boxes. So I have a short video of 1 minute. Probably I can just run it for you. Okay. So it is very important to make sure that the clients do not, show us the same item of inventory again and again. So it is very important to keep, be very alert during the physical verification, considering the absence of physical location. The client should not take an advantage, and make sure you give necessary instructions to the client to be very vigilant on the call, and make sure the stock is verified appropriately and properly. So because of this kind of verification, of course, we are in line with CARO, where it specifically asks us with respect to the physical verification of inventory, and also the same analogy can be applied for your fixed asset verification as well. The next thing being your confirmations and valuation. So what is so special? Of course, we have been doing this even in non-COVID times as well. So whether you're at COVID or non-COVID times, we have been doing this confirmation for accounts receivable, accounts payable, banks, and legal confirmations. So this carries a more emphasis considering the COVID times, because there can be huge amounts of accounts receivable, the money which is actually stuck and which probably has been hit very badly because of COVID, and which might not be receivable. So it is very important to consider the huge amounts of accounts receivable on a particular aspect, assuming how do we know the status of whether the money is actually receivable, whether the debtor is in a good position to actually repay the dues. So all these factors carry a more weightage to make sure that whatever is appearing in the books is actually receivable. So if we are not able to get the confirmations, I think without any hesitation, it is very important for us to get that note in the financial statements led with a emphasis of matter paragraph in the audit report, to make sure the facts are brought very, very clearly into the financial statements. So the same thing holds good for all your bank confirmations and as well your legal confirmations. So considering the specific clauses in the contracts, so there were so many agreements in case if there is an absence of any of your force majeure clause, or any of discontinuation of any services because of COVID. We do not know what is the status of if the legal agreement actually provides for all those clauses. So it is also very important for us to ensure we get the direct confirmation of legals as well from the legal lawyer of the client, to make sure that all the legal litigations which are impacting the financial statements are brought out very clearly in the financial statements. Continuing with that. So the next being your valuations. So again, valuations. We have been doing this valuation even during the non-COVID times. So what is so special over here? So for example, if I say valuation of inventory, so there can be a hotel industry where, of course, which is in a very bad shape because of the COVID now. There could have been a lot of inventory in terms of your cutlery or your kitchen equipment or anything which is actually lying as inventory, but which has not been used for quite some time. We do not know whether it is in a usable condition or not. So can we actually get a specific valuation for all the inventory to make sure that whatever is the value which is carried in the books, it is all carried at a proper realizable value and it is not overshown? Second thing, so coming to the capital work in progress. So for example, if we take a case of a real estate sector, could be a company where there have been huge apartments which have been lying in the books of accounts unsold as at March 20. But considering the pandemic, there can be the purchasing power of the people has actually come down, and the value of the apartment which have been there before March is definitely much lower now. But does it actually cover at least the cost of inventory which is carried in the books of accounts, or would there be any kind of impairment in the inventory? So all this can be possible only because of the valuation. So please make sure you get a specific valuation from an expert and rely on the valuation report. And more importantly, please make sure if there are any conditional clauses in the valuation reports as well, because we have seen a couple of valuation cases where somewhere the valuer also would give some kind of caveat clauses saying subject to 1, 2, 3. So please make sure that all those clauses, if any, are watched very properly and have been taken care in the financials as well. So just to add the point of the confirmation, so we have a couple of websites who can actually help in the confirmation process, right from your accounts receivable, payable, banks, legal, who actually help the auditors and the companies to do this exercise on behalf of them. Of course, it comes with a cost. We have not been using this, but we inquired a lot of time for this, but we have not been using this in Guru Vijana, but still you can give it a try. So next, when we come to the data analytics, so it's all, so data is all the wealth. So data is all the crux of what moves around your data analytics. So how do we play around the data? Say for example, now probably you may find a little bit of free time where if you want to do any value addition to the client, can you actually think over, put on a different hats and then see, can we do a value addition to the client with the data we already have? For example, if we have been doing a set of A, B, C, D works with the kind of data what we have, can we use the data? Can we read the data in a different way and can we actually do a little bit of value addition to the client, especially in terms of internal audits? So the tools which I'm actually displaying here, the Click, the Power BI, R, ECAT. Power BI comes with a very, very minimal cost of licenses. It costs you around some 6,000 per user per annum. R is again an open software. ECAT, yes, our own CA fraternity has actually founded this. So yes, this again comes with a price. Click, we have both the open version and we have the paid version. So I'll give you an example. How did we use Power BI for a particular client? So the dashboard which I'm presenting here, it was a data of around 150 plus retail chain stores. We have been doing the audit across the South India for 150 plus of their stores. So what we could do is, the client has a standard checklist of set 10 parameters. So we have 10 parameters, same 10 parameters for across 150 salons. So what we could do is, we could just consolidate the data of all those 150 plus salons of all these 9 parameters, and we could build a simple dashboard on this. See, in an Excel, what you can usually do is you have to just filter, do a multiple filters, do a pivot and all. But this is a dashboard built using Power BI with a very, very simple mechanism. So this has been built by one of our colleagues who's chatted. The only thing what you actually need is somebody with a technical bent of mind, and your finance would actually be a very good combination. So if there are any guys in the office who are actually, who are technically good, I think there are a lot of YouTube videos which are available on the internet who can actually, explore a little bit and build such dashboards like this. So just to spend a little more time on this dashboard, say for example, if I pick up the expired product store. So it says there have been, for example, it says a score is 0 and score is 10. So there have been 19 stores where there are expired products, and some others do not have expired products. Then, for example, if I go to this right window, so the best of this dashboard would be on this right corner, where if somebody wants to see the data cluster wise, so we have all, we can select it cluster wise. We can say Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, or whichever is there. Then we can say the city. Sorry. 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 So what can be done is we can actually select the options here, could be whatever is the state. For example, if you're saying a city, we can select the city and the options would actually change automatically. The ABM could be a manager, the reports in terms of each manager can actually be viewed, franchisee. So we can actually view the reports each franchisee wise, and it could be in terms of center, could be east, west, north, or south. So this is a very, very simple dashboard, which when you present this to the client, it is very, very, very easy for them to actually get a report just at the click of a mouse. So just a couple of more slides. So for example, this was one slide, what you see when we are comparing the previous quarter report to a current quarter. So it is very easy to, and the best advantage here is if in case you want to just see, for example, if I go to the first table, and for example, you're saying 82, and you want to see what are those 82, you can just go there and do a right click. This is not a video, so I'm not able to show you the live part. I could not get the video. So in case if we do a right click, it will show up the Excel database, and with the breakup, which are these 82 salons, who is the manager, which is the location, what is the nature of product, and everything. So you can actually explore in building such kind of simple dashboards, which are coming at a very, very minimal cost as well. So to again just highlight, so the advantages of all these dashboards, yes, of course, minimal human intervention. So when we try to use some Excel data, we do not know, it could be a formula error, some linking error and all those, which we do not have to face all those in case of building such dashboards. Scientific based approach, yes. Ease of data consolidation, dynamic dashboard where you can get the data whatever you want. You can do a multiple combinations and get the data as well. Full data analysis rather than a sample. So we have the flexibility and the comfort of running through the entire data rather than just picking a samples, what we usually do in the course of audit, and user-friendly interface. So if you are showing this especially to a technical person, so for example, if you are the client, the CEO or somebody is a technical guy, you don't have to, it is not that he has to be a finance person. So anybody can understand and just operate it by themselves. Okay, then when it comes to the people cost. So one thing what I would like to emphasize here is, somehow as auditors, we do a lot of things on the client data. We do so much on the work front, but are we also able to use the data efficiently and do it for our own offices? So I'm sure this is a very niche area where we can actually look back and then just see, are we also tracking the efficiency of our employees, especially during the COVID times? How are we tracking the employees' efficiency? So I'm sure you would have definitely been having more calls, more video calls, a whole lot of coordination sitting from home. But yes, how sure are you that the efficiency of an employee is actually correct? So I would like to just run through a couple of videos which have again built based on simple Excel, the Power Query of the Excel. So I would just like to run through this video and then talk after that. So this is the case, what has been done is, so we have taken the data of all the members, say data of all the member, client-wise. From each client, what is the task done and what is the time taken for each of the tasks. A simple Excel. And that Excel is actually using a Power Query. A simple dashboard like this has been built. It is all free of cost. It is not a charged, it is not a purchased software. So if you actually want to know, for example, as what you have seen in the first case, first employee, what is the list of clients a person has worked upon? So we have got 4 clients, okay? And on the 4 clients, we have a lot of description of work, what is this person worked upon. So for example, this person has worked on TRS, he's spent 3 days on this particular job. So is it really true that this person has spent 3 days to do this job? Is it really so complex? Is it because he was not aware that he had to do it? Is it because the data was not available? Is it because he had some technical glitches, or because whatever be the reason? So it is very important for us to, especially during the COVID times, to make sure that the effectiveness is kept intact. And all this comes only through the close monitoring of the members of the employees in the office. How do we go about? So we had seen in one of the cases, there was an employee who was working on a GST nil return for almost 3 days. So when you probably look at the timesheet, you probably feel, how, okay, this employee is working for 8 hours. He ticked all the 8 hours, correct. But when you go to the little more details and can you actually check what is the kind of work he's done for those 3 days, you might find surprising results in a few cases. So it is very important to keep an eye on such kind of members. And you can do it on a sample basis. You can pick up on those people whom you think probably have been playing around or something. You can just pick up and start with fewer people, and then I think you will be able to make out who are those real contributors and who are those really playing around. So this is just continuation. So this the first slide was a person wise. So second slide is based on a client wise. Say for example, on ABC Limited. So this person has worked on financial updation for 1 day. Okay, so that is fine. So the results can probably be surprising sometimes, can really be justifying sometimes. So it is important for us to do a whole lot of analysis, person wise, client wise, job wise, and make sure the effectiveness of employees is also monitored very closely during the COVID times, because of course, I'm sure it is our responsibility to make sure that we pay our members, our employees in full without any deductions. So at the same time, it is also important for us to make sure that there must be no such kind of people who have been rewarded for playing around in such kind of situations. So just few advantages of this kind of analysis: timely submissions, efficiency tracking. It helps us identify who are those efficient members. Tracking the project delays. There can be some cases where the project has actually taken more time than what is actually budgeted. So it is important for us, in case if it is a assignment linked to your time spent, you can actually go back to the client and tell, look, there has been a delay in the work because of ABC reasons. So you can actually renegotiate the billing part as well. Then the cost savings, yes. So wherever we can actually look into the cost savings, it is very important to look into these sheets very closely. Then with respect to the test of controls. Okay. So just to give a little more on this. So this was one of our internal audit assignment where when we were doing the audit in a physical scenario, the client used to share the data, the huge dump of the downloaded reports through mail, your pen drive or WeTransfer or whatever. But now because of the COVID, we said, okay, that's all is gone. We said, you give access to the portals where the reports can be directly extracted by us, writing a code in the R, a simple code in the R, which will be automatically popped up on a daily basis. And the reports will be generated and will be mailed to the mail IDs which are fed in the system. So advantages of such kind of things can be when the person is downloading the reports and giving it to you, we are not very sure about the authenticity of the documents. We do not know if the employee is trying to edit any documents and give us a modified reports. But when we have direct access to the reports, it is very important that we directly access all those portals, request the client to access, give access to all such portals. So in case if you have any other clients where we have been getting data from the client, request to the clients, write to the clients, ensure you have a direct access, surpassing the people who actually share the data to us. So these have been few learnings for us during this COVID situation. So I'm sure you must be facing a similar kind of work in few of your clients. Kindly try doing this with your clients. So just a few screenshots from the portals. Okay. So just before this, so this is a software by name Aventis, which we have been using, which is an internal audit dashboard which we have been using. So just to give a little brief on how does it happen. So especially during an audit scenario, I think it is a cycle where we write a mail to the client and the client again replies back. For example, we ask for 4 data, the client replies for 3 data, and the client would say, I've given all the data. And when finally it is escalated to the senior or the senior manager, then it is realizing, okay, 1 data is not given. or a mail has gone, but probably the employee has not checked your mail, or has missed out your mail, or it has gone into the spam, or whatever. There could be so many reasons where there have been too many to and fro discussions, to and fro correspondence, but which is probably not hitting the nail, and there can be a lot of delays on account of this as well. So there is a software by name Avantis, which we extensively use during our internal audits. So this tracks the process right from the time an assignment is created. And more importantly, the client also can be given access to the system, where the client also can actually look into the dashboard. So he can see what is the data request which has come. He can reply to the data request directly in the system, the software, wherein the data is sent to the mail ID of the requested person. And it is important, it is very easy for him to keep a track, because of course the client would have a lot of other things. He would have his routine work, he would have his audit, he would have his other works as well. So this would act, and this to give the access to the client, depending on the license what is purchased, we don't have to, the client doesn't have to pay for this. He can just use a online URL link and just log in into the system. So it helps the client as well to see what is pending from his side. If he is not responded promptly, the escalation is sent to his manager, who actually can alert him to say, look, you have a couple of tasks that's not completed, and you can actually go back and complete your task. And to add a few more features of this software, the internal audit report. So the moment you actually enter the observation and you click on your criticality, the reasons for your observation could be in terms of process, people, technology, the impact being your low or high. What is your observation? What is your management reply? Are you okay with the management reply? So to and fro, everything can actually be addressed during this using this software. So this is a 2.5 minute video. I'll just run it for you. This is in a little fast forward mode to make sure we don't spend too much time. So this is an inventory verification assignment where a particular task is being assigned. So we also can have standard templates for each kind of assignment. So this is standard template what we have for inventory verification. So the first dashboard was the auditor's dashboard, and now this is the client's dashboard. So it says client, you have 19 open items for your submission or to reply back. Sorry. So it is important for the client to just go back and see what are those 19 assignments. So he has a list of items that are pending for his submission. So now the client is actually going and replying for one of the points, which is the inventory report. So the client uploads the data and then submits for the auditor's review. And then he can actually go back to his screen and he can, that shows, okay, he's closed, and it was 19 has become 18 now, and 12 became 13 now. So it shows that I symbol where it says the report can actually be viewed. And when the report is submitted, the auditor has a feature to actually approve or reject it. So if the data, what is required is what is the same as what is being submitted, the auditor can actually approve and take it forward. In case if what is asked is different from what is submitted, the auditor has all the rights to just reject it, and the client will have to submit the data and the documents again. So the reply by the auditor says, kindly check again, must be a wrong file which is actually being submitted over there. So the review is being done now, and after the review, the auditor can give the comments based on the review of the work. after the response, it is the management's turn to submit the management's response. And you can actually enter on which date the report is being submitted, when is the report submitted, so that it's all tracked properly. Okay. So that was a very short video to demonstrate how all this can be automated. Instead of a lot of things going back and forth in the mails, it's all very clear. So if you have to, and I think it's a very standard problem when we probably attend the internal audit meetings. We say the client says the data is given and the auditor would say the data is not given. And this is a vicious cycle. So this is all sorted out by using softwares like this. Then challenges, yes, there have been a lot of challenges where we must have been facing with the remote work, people scattered all across, multiple calls. So I'm sure the day starts early than the normal hours and the day ends very late during than the normal hours as well. And more importantly, the team is scattered all over. So and depending on the location, you have issues like your internet issues, your connectivity issues, and your quality of work. So how do we ensure that the quality of work is the same like how it would have been in a physical environment situation? Very, very important, the client rapport and the comfort. In the earlier scenario, when you were physically, the client had that comfort as to whom he was talking to, and he can actually address it very well with you. But now, please make sure, please make it a point to be in touch with all of your clients on a very, very regular basis. It is very important for the client also to get a comfort saying whatever you're doing is what is the same as what is there in the physical environment. Especially if you're doing an internal audit, it is very important for us to give this comfort to the client saying whatever we have been doing during the physical environment is also being done now. But it is a challenge. How do we substantiate it? So please make sure if you are having any of the review or discussion calls with your client teams, record your calls so that at least the top management has a comfort saying all such discussions have already been done. Of course, recording your calls subject to your client, your IT requirements on your legal record of the country or whatever. So please make sure you have all those evidences recorded well and kept to make sure that the client also has that comfort saying there has been no compromise at all anywhere with respect to the quality or with respect to any of the deliverables as well. Then scattered teams, yes, the teams are scattered everywhere. So we have people in Gurujana almost scattered across 170 plus cities. And yet it has been a very, very challenging time for us as well to get connected to all of them from different locations. Motivation levels. So more importantly, how do you keep the time? How do you keep the team more motivated? So when we are all together, it is very easy to keep the motivation levels. When the team is all scattered, how do you keep the team motivated? So make sure you talk to your teams on a very, very regular basis. Have the daily catch-up calls. Something good going on in the team, do publicize the good. The client is appreciated. Please do, make it, let the good make more sound and let all these boost up the morale of all the employees. Connectivity issues. Please make sure in case if you have to reimburse, now of late internet has become very cheap. You get a good amount of volume data for a very, very minimal amount. Please see if you can reimburse the internet bill of all your employees. Now we do not have any conveyance reimbursements. So try to see if you can reimburse and the employee can get a better connectivity rather than struggling all the way with poor connectivity issues. Member leaves and contingency. So I'm sure we have the CA exams getting postponed on and off. So how do you plan the exam leaves? And contingency, considering the COVID situation, we do not know which of the employee or members may actually fall ill. So what is the dependency of the particular assignment on a particular member? So do we have any contingency in case if something goes wrong with a particular member's family, the member is not well, member family is not good, how do we actually plan across? So please make sure you address all these issues on a practical front to make sure that audit goes on in a very, very smooth way, and we are required to do what is required and in the best possible way using the alternative procedures. So here ends my presentation. Thank you, everybody. Over to Prashant.
Yeah, Nilima, that was quite comprehensive, the way we are supposed to do the audit during the COVID times. And you have brought out the challenges and, of course, a whole lot of solutions that we have on hand in order to do the audit during the COVID times. Certainly quite helpful for the professionals, though. So to leave from where Nilima has left, one point is I have a choice now to go with my PowerPoint presentation. I would like to not do that because she has already built the subjects. Now going back to the PowerPoint and then starting from the basic is something that is not fruitful for any of us. So first and foremost, in order to embrace technology, I would like to emphasize few things to the members here. First and foremost thing, let us ask each of us, okay, a very simple question I am asking. How many of us are regularly visiting ICAI website? We will leave all the big softwares, technology, everything, we will leave it aside. Do we know the ICAI has moved itself from being paper with a lot of paper to paperless in many aspects? Of course, the biggest, I have to say, the effort has been to create the SSP portal, wherein the data from almost 1949, 1950 has been digitized now, right? Who has seen the ICAI website first? Okay. Why am I insisting on ICAI website? There is a very important thing that we have to see on the portal. Let me take you through ICAI website, what I have opened right now here. So of course, this is the main screen that you would get in the CA Institute website, right? And on the right-hand side here, you have something called ICAI Wall Apps and Portals. So once you click on that, it will move you to certain apps that are already available and certain services. ICAI has made it ready for the members as such. So you can see a whole lot of things here, right? So I'm just making it quite basic presentation. Go to each of this and discover as to what are the new things the CA Institute has brought out to ensure that the lives of the practicing chartered accountants are easy, okay, and technology embraced, right? So because our topic is straight away on the technology, I'll directly take you to one of the important buttons here that is called Digital Learning Hub. So we'll go to the Digital Learning Hub here, okay? And then I would like to go to a topic called DCMM. So what is DCMM? We have seen all sorts of jargons all the way through our professional life. And here it comes for a CA chartered accountant, DCMM, which is Digital Competency Maturity Model. This is a free course offered by the CA Institute. And what we are supposed to do is very simple. Just subscribe for it free. There is a user ID and password that has to be keyed in. I'm just telling you all these things because I expect after the presentation, all of us will have to go back and do this. That is very important. It is not. So here it comes. We have the digital platform to learn here, and it is asking me subscribe for the product. I confirm here. Close. I'll click on Digital Competency Maturity course. So I've done this course, so I'm not enrolling it again here. So there's a competency maturity model that is version 2. And here it goes. I don't want to go into this right now because that will take some amount of time. It will start talking and it will give some indication as to how the guide is implemented and all that. I'm just not going there. I'm just telling you how you can go into this DCMM model using the CA Institute website as such. For our understanding as such, I would like to take you through the PDF copy of this document just to make you understand why it is important for all of us. Okay. So let me share the PDF screen to all of you. So is the PDF screen visible, I suppose? So digital competency maturity model for professional accounting firms. DCMM was the baby of the committee for members in practice, especially the small and medium SMP practicing firms. And the CA Institute had to do something like this very urgently to ensure that the CA profession as such is geared up for technology. So in this, I would like to proudly mention two names which made it possible for the entire CA Institute. One is my partner, Guru Prasad Makam, and another is Mr. Narasimhan Elangovan, who together with the teams, of course, drafted this beautiful document. I can take you through my other presentation, which is, very good and all that. I can show many things, but then that will not serve the purpose. The real success of our talk today, of both myself and Neelima, is to ensure that when you go back to your homes today, you would do something like this and practically see how digitally each of the firms are going to transform from tomorrow morning. That is very important. So, like any other book, you would have the forwards, etc., index, and all that. And then here goes the real nice thing. So there are, it is called DCMM version 2, section categorization. It has measurement of certain aspects of technology in each CA firm. I'm not talking technology for a IT sector or from software company here. I'm talking about the information technology requirement for each and every CA firm in India, irrespective of the size of the organization. Even if you are a single member organization, single sole proprietor organization, this document is going to change your life forever. I can guarantee you that. Section A, level of automation of firms' internal processes. Section B, availability of qualified research pool and talent development relating to digital competencies. Okay, looking at the entire presentation today, nothing would happen. What exactly has to happen is you have to go back home, go back to your office and do this. This is important. Section C1, discipline specific categorization for audit, discipline specific categorization for tax and compliances, accounting and support functions, other management consultancy services, adoption of advanced and emerging technologies. Now look at each of these topics. All of us, whether it is sole proprietary, partnership, small firm, big firm, whether we are 1-member firm or we are 400-member firm or we are a 1,000-member firm, it doesn't matter. For everybody, these sections are applicable. So what does the CA Institute want us to do? This is very interesting. Now, this is called firm maturity rating. What is it that you are supposed to do here? Section A, Section B, Section C, Section C2, C1, C2, C3, C4. Okay, Section D. It has divided the questionnaires in this format. You have to go to these questionnaires and answer them. When you give an answer, you will be getting a point. Either you can do a manual scoring using this PDF document. You can just type DCMM 2.0 ICAI in Google. You'll get this document. I'm not finding it from anywhere else. You can just download it from the Google. So easy. Either you can write it or the free course that I told you on the ICAI portal, you can do that. Now come to this, fill the questionnaires in section A. Find out what is your points. So the maximum score of 169 points. If you score less than 46 points, you are a level 1 firm. Greater than 46 up to 92 points, level 2 firm. Greater than 92 points, level 3 firm. You scored all the 169. You are a firm to emulate, right? And you can go to the next level, right? Makes sense? I mean, this is the practical thing what I'm explaining to you, that each of us are supposed to go home and do it. Okay, let me take you to section A. This is how the questions look. There's a whole lot of document. Okay, It answers question. You are supposed to answer questions like managing digital identity. The firm has a registered domain name. All the while, will I keep using prashantkl@gmail.com? No, I'm not happy. I want klp@gurujana.com. Gurujana is my domain name for the firm. Right now, the presence of all the firms is not a physical place. The presence is digital. The presence is virtual. Where is our domain name? What are we? Go to gurujana.com. You will find out everything about Guru Anjana. Go to www.gurujana.com. You will know everything about Guru Anjana. What services we provide, who are we people, how do we render services, what is our culture, right? I mean, I'm just talking to you about one single point: domain name. You have your domain, you have your website. Yes, you get 1 point, otherwise you get a 0. Don't be bogged down by getting a 0. I will explain to you what you're supposed to do. So in this line, we are supposed to answer each and every of these questions. Does the firm have a website? Does it get regular updates? Is it interactive and dynamic? Can employees and articles log in? Can clients log in? Guys, this is a document that is authoritatively published by the CA Institute. Please don't go back and again keep checking, okay, is this within the ethics, not in the ethics? All those things have been taken care here. Okay, so just go to this, answer all these questions, self-evaluate yourself, understand what is your points. Then you're asking, okay, I will take this exam, self-evaluate, get my points, compare it. What am I supposed to do? That is where the answer comes. You have certain points that you've got. You have got, say, 35 points. Your goal is to go to 60 points. How are you supposed to go? Go and select some of these items and see what you can immediately implement in the office. Select those. Can you get a website? 2,500 rupees, 3,000 rupees, one website. Corporate domain ID for mails. If you subscribe to something like Gmail, it gives you almost some 200 email IDs is free. There's no cost at all, right? So there are certain things which can be minimal costing, but there may be something which is free of cost, right? So what I'm trying to tell is, you measure this, find out where you stand, and then leave yourself a breathing space of around 3 months, say a quarter, okay? Accomplish some of the items, come back, take the test again, okay? Implement few things, spend 3 months again, implement few more things, come back and again see this. Let me go to a different operational process automation. Okay, simpler one: mobile device, laptops, PDS, etc. tracking. Are there laptops, PDS given to employees? Are the assets being tagged before being allocated to an employee? Is there a tracking of all the assets being done on a real-time basis through your software? See, from domain, I came to the hardware. From the hardware perspective, what are the questions that we have to answer? Come back to this, please answer them, right? There's a whole lot of questionnaire here. I'm not going into the entire part of it, and that would not be the goal. I'm trying to guide you to this sheet so that if you implement it strictly, take it from me, quarterly, next 1 to 1.5 years, I mean, you will see a real digital transformation. So as the name depicts, it is digital competency maturity model. There is a digital competency that you already have. You have certain level of maturity, and that maturity has to be enhanced. To enhance that maturity, this model certainly helps. So this is the kind of simplified, maturity model what the designers have made, and really thanks to Guru Prasad and Narsimhan Elangovan who have made this. And it is most important for all the CAs in the country to do this. That is most important. Okay, then go to the next topic here. I'm just taking it randomly. Redundancy and continuity. Data backup is automated process in the cloud, or is it offline at different location and same is tested periodically? Yes, 1 point. No, 0. Is all data being uploaded or server on a daily or periodic basis? Is the backup data stored in multiple locations? Is this process of backup automated? Is backup of email taken regularly or at the time of leaving the organization? Look at the kind of questions. It is encompassing the entire operations of a CA firm, right? We were in web, we were in website, we discussed hardware. Now we are talking about backup, the safety and safety of the data as such. Whole lot of things to see here. So I would not go deeply into this. I have already driven my point. So you have to go enroll yourself to DCMA model. That is point number 1 from my side. So the next point I wanted to talk was, in case if we look at what is it that we are looking at, in terms of, I'll just this screen just a moment. So there are huge jargons that have come up, right, these days. So it is like digitization, automation, artificial intelligence, and all that. A person who has come from the CA background obviously is not taught computers and softwares to tell, okay, this is how you're supposed to do. We come from the theory background. We read the books and go and write the exams and pass and come out, right? So we need some simplified definitions of what we are trying to do. What is digitization? I have a scanner. I take a paper, take a digital copy of it, scan it. Digitization. Simplest meaning, what is applicable to us. Automation. Automation, I have taken an example called File. There is a online application called File. It works on a SaaS model. Once you subscribe to it, you can go inside that software and then give certain parameters as to how it is supposed to account. Okay. It is so intelligent that it can directly pick the invoices from your emails, take the invoices and feed it automatically into the software, analyze the invoice and pass an entry. If it sees food, it debits staff welfare expenses to the party. If it sees Indian Oil Corporation, it will debit vehicle fuel expenses to cash payment or bank payment, whatever, right? So it intelligently automates the transactions. Otherwise, what are we supposed to do? Take the invoices, pass the entry manually in Tally, pass the entry manually in QuickBooks or Zoho Books, whatever. But the File reduces the manual work and brings in the automation part of it. Now, if you take File, it not only passes the entries, look at the beauty of it, the File can be connected to a accounting package like QuickBooks. Interesting. QuickBooks is where you maintain your 100% of data. There you have your purchases, sales, bank, cash, journals, assets, liabilities, everything. But what this automation does, it captures all these transactions in File. It has an account code mapping from File to QuickBooks. It transfers all the entries automatically, periodically from File to QuickBooks. Look at the biggest advantage here. The accountant is not there. All you have is an email ID and the File does the job for you. And go to the QuickBooks, one more magic is awaited. The whole QuickBooks is driven by a base application called the SQL. It is the structured query language. Understand? We are not, aware of structured SQLs as such, but then the backend is built like that. So assume the QuickBooks is subscribed by the client and the entire data flows from File to the SQL. There you would want the data. For example, you are a trader of garments. You are a company trading garments. You have 3 companies, 10 brands across 30 locations, and you need the data for each trouser and each shirt. Is it possible? Yes. An SQL can be written in a coded language where when you run the report, it can give you the minutest of the data that is possible. So here what we are talking about is the automation part of it. Then comes the artificial intelligence. One more software called Find My Invoice. You download this software on your system. It takes access to your email ID. So what is the help of this software? It runs the software and picks up the invoices, and then it accounts only for those invoices which is pertaining to the organization. So there it comes, the clue of the or the logic of the artificial intelligence in order to do work. So in all this, there's huge elimination of the manual data. You may tell that then are you causing jobless to the CS? No, our mind, our brains should be invested for more important decisions like how the investment should be obtained, how the taxes can be planned, how the bottom line should be increased, how the top line can be increased. I mean, the experience of the CS can be incredible because we get to see all sorts of businesses. So that is the kind of experience what anybody would expect. So there are various softwares for human resources managed too. One may be Great Tip, another may be something like Zoho. Over the years, we have gone from portal-driven softwares to portal-driven self-made softwares to some of the subscribed softwares. Zoho is one of them. I should say one of the magical softwares I've seen as of now. It is clustered into various components. It has books, it has human resources, it has projects, it has analytics, it has payroll, it has compliances. I mean, it is very, very comprehensive. So what I would do is, I cannot show the entire Zoho though. I cannot go to the books also. I would show you something on Zoho people. That can be quite interesting. Just a moment. I'll just take maybe another 5-10 seconds. So I'm just trying to say what the CAs can really embrace in technology and not just be with some manual systems. So I'll just go to the services here. I have leave tracker, time tracker, attendance, performance, files, organization, cases, announcements, and there is a learning management system also. So I just check on, say, organization, and here goes it is hiring request, which team needs people, reimbursement claim, who has the claim for travel, non-travel, internet, what expenses, resignation form, employee separation form, client acceptance form, organization tree, birthdays, new hires, who are the people who have just joined now, favorites, approvals, tasks. I mean, just in organization, we can see so many of them. Let me come to something like LMS, Learning Management System. So right now, what is running in the office is advanced Excel training. What is running is also how to fill the timesheets. So one of the colleagues here, an experienced CA, had asked me, how do you manage to ensure that the timesheets are indeed filled by the people, right? So Nilima went beautifully, showed the Excel spreadsheet, and she said that, you click on the team, you click on the person, you click on the day, you click on the name of the client, you see the job and see what is the task he has performed, and he has put 3 days. Is it right? And for that, a gentleman CA here asked a question telling that if you're going so much in depth into the timesheet, first of all, how are they filling it, right? So here goes it is. One option is to keep it in the spreadsheet and consolidate it the way Nilima presented using a spreadsheet. Another, maybe possibly doing a online thing like a Zoho people. Okay. But in few cases, say the cost may be high. So I'm just giving both the options here. The Excel is quite important. How do you track it? Very important. We have a system, 26th to 25th of the month, submit your timesheets. There is a HR who takes care of the payroll of the office. On the 25th night, it has to come. 26th, HR checks all these timesheets if everything is submitted. If everything is submitted, those employees alone, data would get processed for the payroll. Otherwise, they won't get the salary. Now you tell me, if you don't get the salary, will you do the timesheet or you don't do the timesheet? I mean, Whether it is by force or otherwise, you have to ensure it is happening. Otherwise, we cannot bring efficiency in the CE organizations. It is not possible. Clear? So there are quite a few analytical tools like this which can certainly help us in our day-to-day practice. The next point I would like to take, let me go to the, so the next one I would go is to, so I need to go to the PPT. Okay. So next is on the office management part. The whole lot of problems. I'm not going to this slide. There is a manner in which the work has to be allocated in the organization. All the jobs have to be tracked, right? Priorities have to be marked. And then within the timelines, the service has to be rendered. So in case all these things have to be driven by only, say, a spreadsheet, becomes very, very difficult. We need something to online track it beautifully. So one such package that we could think of right from 2010 onwards, we are holding on to it, but of course there is always possibility for growth, but this is right now also working fabulously well. So that is Pepilio. So once we log in, we can select what service we want to see, which client data we would like to see, and then, for example, the entire transfer pricing cases in the organization is just available with one click of a button. Assume everything is kept in some folders and spreadsheets. We keep on spending some 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes only looking at the folders, many times hours together. Now here it is, I just put transfer pricing, all transfer pricing cases listed and came in one place as such. Okay. Now, how does actually Pepilio work? I need to select a client and then select it belongs to which team, what kind of audit it is, statutory audit, high risk. I save this service. The service is already created. Click on this and go to the task list. We have certain ready-made templates. Every aspect of the audit is already recorded here. For example, there's an audit planning checklist that you can see here. It says terms of engagement, review of correspondence and tax file. Now you can tell that in audit standard 1, it says the engagement letter must be there. Now you can see, correlate that to Pepilio service. We already have a template here and a point is marked here telling, do you have an engagement letter? Right? So go on. When it comes to audit, how do I do share capital audit, reserves and surplus? The whole lot of things. It just goes on. Loan funds. Everything is written into one template. And here are the fixed files that are already there as a template. What the articles of the staff are supposed to do is just download these files, fill them, load it back here. So at any point of time, even if at your home, late in the night, you forgot something, you want to see something, just in the click of a button, either on the mobile or in your desktop, you can access the service and see if that work is done by the person or not, which is otherwise not possible if we are in the spreadsheet system. So on the Pepilio, these are few of the advantages I said. It is a complete, I should say, office management software in terms of, I should say, workflow and documentation software. What is workflow? It is in terms of who has to do which work. Documentation, all the files that I need, is it available to me in 1 minute time? So that is the challenge we run in the office. In case a document is not available in Pepilio in 1 minute's time, I can't find it, it is not there. So that is the kind of discipline that has to be followed in order to make this possible. So Pepilio is one thing. As a takeaway, you can take it. That is certainly a good software to take. In Excel, I'm not going here. Similar statement is what Nilima presented to us. So there are various cloud softwares like Pepilio. If you see some of the comparisons here we have given: Pepilio, CCH firm, Cordel, MyTask. Now, if you look at these software names, it is also mentioned in the DCMM model. In the DCMM model, there are examples of softwares given. It is not that CA Institute is telling you have to go for it. There are certain examples that are given so that you can apply your mind and see which best suits your organization function. So there are some cloud-based product comparison that I've done here. Microsoft in itself is a huge management tool. It is an office management tool. The Office 360, Microsoft 365 has PowerPoint, Word, Excel, OneNote, and Access, MS Access. It has email and calendar in Outlook and Exchange. Meeting and voice, you can do the e-meetings like these in Microsoft Teams. There is social and intranet possibilities through SharePoint and Yammer. Files and content transfer can be done internally and externally with others using OneDrive, Stream, Sway. There can be task managements that are done with some of the apps here. Advanced analyticals possible. You can see Power BI Pro is part of the Microsoft license though. There are several device and app management tools. Identify and access management tools as to who has logged into the system can be found out. Threat and info protection apps are there. Advanced compliances are there in Microsoft Teams. So in Office deliverables, this is one thing that I wanted to show. If you look at the kind of services a CA performs, a typical CA firm, including Guru Anjana, what we do is statutory audit, tax audit, internal audit, income tax scrutiny, right? Accounting functions, corporate law services, consulting services, right? So these are generic services all of us provide. But then some of us are able to demand, say, 10,000 or 20,000 as a fee from a client for the same service. There would be one more firm which charges, say, 1 lakh or 1,50,000 rupees. The entire thing boils down to presentation of the work to the clients, right? You do a very big income tax scrutiny assessment, and then you have done very, very well. So assessing officer tells, great, so there is no demand. So finally, he'll give a one-page assessment order, and he'll tell the return of income as filed income tax returns as on dash 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 date is accepted as the assessed income. Over. And you take this and give it to the client and tell 50,000 rupees fee. He'll tell 1 page and 50,000 rupees fee. For what? Doesn't make sense. So there has to be a way in which the deliverables have to be shown to the client. And one such thing is collating the entire data of the work that we have done and keeping it in one file and showing it to them. Let me see what this product does. This is called Vivid. It is developed in-house at Guru Anjana, working quite fine from the past 5 years, and it has done marvelous job. Let us see how it works. So here it goes. A double click on Vivid. The application opens. Click on the job title. I want it to be named as Vivid Report. So I just mention it as Guru Jana. Choose the files. There are certain files I have here. Some replies done to the income tax department. I'm selecting these files. Look at this carefully. I selected PDF also. I selected Excel also. Okay, this is the folder where I am saving it. Cover page, this is the design I want. Okay, I want to change the order, up, down. I can do them. I can change the order in which the files have to come in the report. I need an index page. Merge the document. Click on merge the document and look at what comes out from the report. Merge file is created. Go to this and open the file on the desktop. Here it comes, Vivid Report Guru Anjana PDF document, and come here and you have a whole lot of some 10-page document. There is an index for all these files. Keep coming down, and these are the things that you have captured in this. There are various files that is there across. You have combined everything of them. You have made a combined report, and this report, you will send it to the client or go to the client, put it on a presentation and talk about it for half an hour or 1 hour. Now you tell me which client will not pay you that 50,000. He is ready to pay you 1 lakh because he knows what is your effort now. And this is the technology tool which helps us do this. So in fact, what I have is one more document. I'll just open it for you for one of the scrutiny assessments. So if I can share it just a moment. This is a vivid report readily I've created for all of you just for reference purposes. So there is a notice that has come and scrutiny notice. These are the things that are there here. I mean, just the client names are removed here. These are the submissions we have made. Look at the submissions that are made. Now, all these things you're going to take to the client and explain to him, boss, it's not that assessment order is one page. Look at the job that is involved here. Look at the job that is involved here. Can you see the number of pages here? It's almost around 400 or something like that, right? And this is the whole lot of work that you've done in order to obtain the assessment order. This document tomorrow becomes a reference point for future cases or in appeals or in ITAT. The entire thing is there. What you're supposed to do, just take a print, make it part of the paper book. Appeal submissions are ready. Many times we have seen people struggle doing the appeal paper book, right? Now look at this. Appeal paper book is ready, page numbered. Look at the index, page is numbered. What else do we need? It's over. Appeal paper book is ready. Now, what is to be done is only the written submission. That is there in our brain. Either way, we type it and do the written submission separately, right? So here it goes. So what I was trying to tell is we saw some of the technologies that are there to run the office, some technology to give final deliverable to the client, some technology to see how accounting is possible, and many technologies we saw how Nilima explained how audit is possible. We saw a whole lot of things. But the most important point is not to listen to our presentation today, but to take action from tomorrow morning. The cost is not very, very high, and wherever it is high, it is not a cost, it is investment. When the entire CA profession as such looks at the investment of a businessman and try to find out what is return on investment. If you put a return on investment on technology, there is no ratio available. Look at the same scenario where a scrutiny assessment got you 25,000 rupees of fees, and with one vivid report, it becomes 1 lakh. I don't know where is the value. I don't know where the value is hidden. It is all up to us to leverage technology for the success of the CA firms. I think with the time available, we have showcased what is possible using technology. And just to revise the memory, just to take back to the first step, what I told, we are supposed to go back to DCMM model, take the DCMM questionnaire. Today, don't sleep unless you take the DCMM questionnaire. Put your points, find out where you stand. From tomorrow morning, take it from me, you are on the path of embracing technology. Thanks a lot for this time. Over to the host.
Yashaswini.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. It was indeed a pleasure to listen from about how the technology is from two young people with us today. Thank you once again, CA Prashant KL and CA Nilima Jayanti, both partners of Guru and Jana, who have given us a very good insight on how you can adapt technology. And being on the run today, anywhere you be, you'll have to be updated with technology, and you have to answer your clients on the go at times. So I think this particular softwares which are provided by or mentioned by you, or maybe which is even given by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India in their portal, will actually help us to go about and be in line with the modern technology. Thank you once again. I request our chairman to give the closing remarks for the two sessions.
It was very informative brainstorming, and really a lot of nuances, new things both of you have given to our professional brothers and sisters. Really, it is astonishing to know that your office is paperless. Our office is always full of paper, full now, not paperless. But to start with, we will try to be at least less paper rather than paperless. First, we will move towards less paper. Then definitely one day they will come. Without paper also we can run. As now department has also started faceless assessment, and even the faceless appeals also have been started. To what extent that faceless appeal can give justice, that I cannot justify now. But I have seen your presentation in Karnataka State Chartered Accountant Association program also. Really, it is wonderful thing. So you are that's why, because of paperless thing during COVID times, you are always ahead of time. So even now we have to just follow you now. So that's why it is said the change. Change is always inevitable. If we change before the change, we will lead. If we change with the change, we will survive. If we change after the change, we will struggle. If we don't change, even after the change, we will collapse. With this small note, really hats off to both of you. We are very proud that Guru and Jana, they are the really leaders in our nation. We can tell all over India that you are the leader in this paperless office. That's why even during COVID times, I think you could complete all your audits on time. And when you complete audits on time, you can receive fees also on time. Correct, no, sir? Okay. So you have been inspirational. Both of you are inspirational to all of our fraternity. And thank you very much for being with us. Our past chairman Ananta Padmanabha is also here to listen to you, because we were both of us were there in the last program also. See, Ananta Padmanabha, would you like to speak something? ಅನಂತ ಪದ್ಮನಾಭ ಅವರೇ, ಏನಾದ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಉಂಟಾ?
Hello.
Yeah, you can speak.
Hello. Yeah, fantastic program. We were there during your session, and we heard a lot from Mr. Guru Prasad himself. So it was a fantastic session. Unfortunately, here at Mangalore, we doubt. We were thinking of following that, but still we found it a little bit difficult to follow, considering here at our client base, or like here geographical area and all. But still, after listening to you again, our our plans are now going again in favor of you. So we will try to follow you, sir. We'll see. Yeah.
Sir, in fact, that is the reason I have made simplified for every CA in the program today. First thing you have to do is just fill up the DCMM maturity model. If you do that, you are on the path of technology already. That is the first step.
Correct. You explained well, because DCMM model from you now, we got our own ICAI website. What are there in ICAI website? Even being a managing committee member and being a past chairman of the Mangalore branch, even I didn't know all this. So thanks to you for exploring all this in favor of our Mangalore branch.
We have to market our own website to our own people.
Yes.
One more thing I wanted to ask.
Everybody goes to the website. That is important.
This Udin, no, because of Udin, I think that paperless office has gained more momentum. Because of introduction of Udin from the last year, all our signatures can be cross-verified from the Udin. Everybody in the portal, SSP portal, I think Udin portal, they can log in and see whether our signatures are proper, whether chartered accountant himself has signed or what. All these checks and balances are there. Of course, our institute is also moving towards paperless regime. We can see, because of this paperless regime only, the institute is also functioning efficiently during COVID time also. So thanks to this.
Just one point ahead. So along with the digital learning hub, I request members to also go to Committee for Members in Practice, the SMP, Small and Media Practitioners. If you click on that, you will find all the softwares that I've mentioned here, and it also gives the probable cost that is there for each of the software. So click on SMP also, small and medium, and also there is one more tab called COVID relief measures. Click on that, you'll get all this information in one go. I'm sure with the kind of expertise that we have in reading, all of you will read it in one night.
Yeah. Recently we had various measures by our this one committee for practice.
And they will come also for our students. Exams also will be paperless. Correct, no?
Yeah.
Paperless exams will also be there. I think we wish for that. So really, we should applaud for that. And you are deserving for our Rajyosava awards, sir, Guru and Jana. I don't know why they have not selected our Guru and Jana for that. Huh? So Guru and Jana, they should select for Rajyosava, Karnataka Rajyosava award. And they should, instead of giving some political recommendation awards, they should give award for the deserving people, so that people will come to know that this is also there. So even in our what you can say, day-to-day other things in bankers and all, they don't believe our lot of papers also. Now I don't know how they believe this paperless this, but during legal this, I have one more thing, sir. During legal opinions, when the advocates give to the banks for the title of the property, of course now registration have all become online in sub-registrar office. They can go through the papers there, but still seeing is believing. Original document, deposit of title deeds with the bank and registration. I think
coming,
that cannot be done.
Even
Now
that is
after,
coming. We are on the verge of going to the blockchain, maybe another 5-10 years.
okay.
All of us are into it. By the time all of us are watching turned off, get up next 5-10 years, we are already into blockchain.
Correct.
All those things you're saying would already be digital by that time.
Very nice. I think we applaud for your wonderful venture and wonderful disseminating of the knowledge amongst all our CA brothers and sisters. Really hats off to both you, CA Dwayas, CA Prashant and CA Nilima. Really, you have made our program today very nice, and hats off to you. And we are proud of Guru and Jana and your team as our chartered accountants, brothers and sisters. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. On behalf of the entire committee of Mangalore branch of SIRC, I would first of all like to thank the chief guest for today's session, CA Ravindra Kore, sir, who is chairman of Bangalore branch of SIRC of ICAI. Indeed, he motivated us a lot through his words. So thank you once again for being a part of this virtual CPE meet. I also would like to thank CA Naveen Kariwal sir for giving us a wonderful session on TDS and TCS provisions, and compiling the entire changes in the 50 questions just so that everyone will be able to understand it. Thank you once again, and we're hoping to listen to you in our future virtual CPE meets as well. And finally, thank you, CA Prashant KL and Nilima Jayanti ma'am, for this wonderful session on how we have to adapt ourselves with the changes that is happening in and around for that, so that we can adapt ourselves with the technology. Thank you once again, and we hope to continue this bond in future as well. Finally, thank you to the entire committee of Mangalore branch and all the delegates who have listened to this particular session and gained a lot of knowledge. So it's been a wonderful Monday today with a lot of thoughts to be understood and taken home. So thank you once again to everyone. Thank you to the chairman and the committee members and all the delegates. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.